Yeah, it would probably be good if I explained it now. We are rolling now, so no turning
Okay.
back. Yes, sir.
Thanks for the heads
So
up.
this is the special episode of the Time Capsule podcast. We actually have somebody. Big
Who is it?
surprise. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I would love to. My name is Crew. I'm friends with Ben.
And that's it. No. So yeah, let me just finish explaining this. So what this actually is. So the whole idea was that if you think about like Snapchat and like Be Real, it's all like 10-second things or like
Mhm.
20-second things, 1 minute at the max. Like literally, Snapchat won't let you go over a minute. And we have no long form content, like at all. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so if you have like, like however long this goes for, just unfiltered, no like, oh, the camera's on, I have to be wacky, right?
Yeah.
I think it would be, well, the idea is that it's like actually representative of what we were like and whatnot. So
Okay.
yeah. So
You're gonna need to take charge.
I probably will. Um so you were gonna come to my house? Is that what
Yeah.
is that what's
Well,
gonna
I
happen?
thought that we were like gonna sit at a table
Just
to
sit,
our
I just have
microphones.
this god tier Joe Rogan mic setup going on. Yeah, absolutely not. I was thinking about doing that actually, and then I looked into
That would
like
be
how
legit.
much, dude. So pretty much just the balancer for like the two microphones, that little like thing they both plug into, that's like $400, like for a basic one. I was like, this is not gonna happen.
Okay.
So
Well,
then
that's what I imagined.
I had to like avoid like a million viruses to get to like be able to record Discord in general. Like it took me like an hour the other night because you're like out of the blue, you're like, hey, I want to be on your podcast. So yeah, dude, I was totally not prepared for you to like actually come over. Like when I texted you, I was literally just like in a bath towel, like out of the shower. I was like, you were not coming over. That's not
Yeah, it's
happening.
probably good I didn't show up at your door.
Especially since you don't know where I live,
Yeah, that's true.
or you shouldn't have known where I lived.
Let's go with I don't know where you live. Go with that.
Dude, the amount of people that actually don't know where I live, that like I actually know, is kind of insane. I'm like the one guy whose like location is still anonymous. I have like the
That's
permanent
impressive.
VPN. Yeah, it's weird because like I always go to other people's houses or we always meet somewhere and just public or whatever, like Smash or whatever.
Mhm.
Like I ran into that problem a lot in high school because I was like, "Oh, you want to like meet up here at my house?" And they're like, "Where do you live?" I was like, "I've known you for 5 years. Like, why do you not know where I live?"
For real.
But
That's
how you
because like
been,
I would
dude?
never.
What were you
Um,
saying?
I was just saying I would never do stuff at my house like with my friends. We would always go other places, and so like no one knew where I lived either.
Dude, I still don't know where you live. All I know is that it's I'm actually not gonna say what I do know.
Probably for the best.
Yeah, like you
It's
sent me an
in
image from your album cover or whatever, and
yeah.
it gave me the location where that image was created because Apple's like that.
Well, that's a little freaky.
I know,
So you
so I
know
just know
like
the general area. I just know
yeah,
like you're on like the west side of this one road. I was like, oh, okay.
true.
You're kind of near Will, saxophone man.
I haven't seen him in a long time.
Dude, I haven't seen. I last time I saw him, it was we went to a Bill Burr show.
I
Pretty
haven't seen him
epic.
since graduation.
Dude, there's so many people I haven't seen since graduation. Like, I think I've seen Grant Hubbard twice, and I've seen Preston once.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure that's it.
So you've seen me the most because we had a class together.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, who else from high? I guess there's some people that go to my church that were in high school with me, but yeah, other than that, not really. So
You're still doing CC?
MCC.
Yeah.
I'm actually at SCC now, so the Scottsdale campus, because
Oh,
I'm rich and I'm really cool like that. No, I
bougie.
no, I'm doing film now, so I quit my psychology major.
Oh, lit.
Yeah, so all those there's like four classes that I didn't have to take that were really difficult, and I knew that while I was taking them. I think I told you this, right?
I think so.
Yeah, like I'd switched to my major while I was still taking those biology classes. So I was like,
Yeah.
while I was doing them, I knew it was it was worthless.
You're still on the scholarship though?
Yeah, it transferred,
That's for all of
thankfully.
like Maricopa.
Yeah.
That's lit.
Dude, it's super late because the film classes are actually like kind of expensive. There's like
Yeah.
class fees and stuff that I
Uh-huh.
just don't have to pay, which is nice.
You don't have to pay class fees?
No.
Oh, I
I mean, I
thought
still have to pay for like textbooks and whatnot, but
right, but like everything else is included.
yeah, it's
Pretty
crazy.
legit.
Dude, it's nuts. Like, I actually had to do this essay last night and they said cite things from the textbook, and my textbook is still not here. So it was just a
That's the
very
best.
big, yeah. And it was due that night. So I was like, well, I'd rather get, 15 out of 30 than 0 out of 30. So I'll just write something.
True.
So I think I can only miss 50 or 60 points in that class if I want an A. So I'm already taking hits.
It's interesting how some classes like tell you to get the textbook, but you don't ever use it, and some classes are like entirely based on the textbook, like
Dude, it was hidden in
religiously.
the syllabus. I didn't even order it till that night. They said like cite stuff in the textbook. 'Cause I was like, what textbook? I haven't read a page. I just been doing the class just off of like sheer willpower. I was like, why is this? I was so confused. It said chapter one test. I was like, dude, she hasn't even taught anything yet. Like, what are we talking about?
What's the test on?
On movies and stuff. It was like early silent films. Because I just had to like watch them and like figure out what they were talking about. Like
Interesting.
in Edison's movie The Kiss, why were people repulsed by it? And I was like, well, now I have to watch it, see what's terrible. Whereas like I think the book literally just tells you the answer. I was like, dude, this like so much harder than it needed to be.
I bet.
But like, yeah, what was I saying? Like, how are you doing right now? Like, I haven't
I'm
seen you
doing pretty good
since what was it,
since like
sociology with
December.
Golden? Yeah.
Rod.
Goldenrod.
Exactly.
Did
Um.
you ace the final though, right?
Oh yeah. Nailed that crap.
That was the only one I did good on in this class, the one that actually mattered. The
True.
middle of the year one, dude, I got like a 52%.
Yeah, you told me about that. I was like, how?
I was like, dude, but I participated. I did the work. I was like,
Yeah.
why am I struggling with this right now?
I actually think I got like
I remember you did really good and I was annoyed.
I, I think I got and I think I got 100% on both of them.
That's so stupid.
But like he gave me like a 92 on the first one and I got the test back and I was looking at it and I was like literally nothing here is wrong. And so I went up to him. I didn't want to be this guy, but I was this guy and I was like, "Yo, I got a 92. I should have 100."
Did he
And he was
fix it
like,
for you?
"Yeah, he fixed it."
Dude, some of those movies that we watched, I was like, dude, I'm so glad I'm not paying for this.
Seriously. That class was a waste of time.
It really
It
was. I mean,
was
I,
we
I
we
got a
did have some
credit.
interesting conversations, I'll admit.
I mean, it was fun, but that doesn't mean it was helpful, right?
It's true.
That's how I feel about a lot of my college classes. Like, yeah, that class is fun. Like, one of the classes was like so useless. It was the small group communication class where basically you had to learn to talk in small groups. I was like, dude, I already do public speaking. Like, this is below me, right? And
Yeah.
The only reason it was useful because it was an honors class, so I kept my scholarship because I did it. That was the only use I got out of that. So, and then the biology classes I took that were not for my major, but were actually really good. They were so hard, but like I actually got a lot out of them, which is weird because like I don't need any of that information.
Yeah, you learn all this stuff and then you just have to get rid of it to
I
fit
still know most of
room
like
for
the
important
content
stuff.
because I would have got like pretty much 100% in both the classes, but I kid you not, on the first exam for my biology class, right? It's an online exam, so if you leave the room, you're screwed. You get a zero. And I had to pee halfway through the exam, right? And so I'm just like, and it's not like a multiple choice exam. It's a what do you call it? An
Short answer?
application. Yeah, it's a short answer, but like there's 100 short answers. It's like it's a lab assessment is what it's called. So basically you look at like lab results and you have to like say what they mean. So everything is different, right? So every question is like based on different results.
Mhm.
And so you have to like read the results and understand every single one of them before you can answer a question.
Study the graph
Yeah.
for each question. How long is this test like supposed to take?
It's supposed to take an hour and a half. So like I thought I could do it. And then
Yeah.
at one point when I got to question 70 out of 100, I was like, screw it. And I just like literally I just put in you can't even like fill in like C for the rest of the test because it's short answer.
True.
So I just started filling in like random stuff. I think I ended up not even answering 20 questions because like if you leave at question like 80, you get a zero. So I just turned it in with 80 questions filled and I ran to the bathroom. My dad just kept telling me, he's like, you should have just peed in your pants. I was like,
It's true. Teach them a lesson.
dude, like, I don't think you understand the amount of like liquid that came out of me at that when
That's
I went to the
also
bathroom.
true.
Like, it wasn't like a, oh no, I gotta like pee a little bit. It was like I was in the bathroom for like a solid 4 minutes just gushing. It was nuts.
That's that sounds unhealthy.
Dude, it was because I was stress drinking before the test
Mm.
and I'd had like an entire rain energy drink and then like my entire water bottle. And so it's just literally like 2 liters straight up.
Well,
It
at
was
least you were
horrible.
drinking water. Better than being dehydrated.
Well, I would have preferred that honestly, because if you throw up, you can just throw up in the room and keep going. You know,
It's true.
you're just like, oh, let me go to the corner real quick, ruin this entire complex.
Why didn't you just go pee in the corner then?
Um, I think that's, I think that's a crime, right?
What if it's in like a sink or a trash can?
Like public indecency. I was in a testing room, so it was like literally like a 5 by 5 square with a table and a light. That was it. Public indecency is a crime.
So
Here.
you were the only person in the room?
Yeah,
Yeah, then maybe that. Then you wouldn't even like have embarrassed yourself doing it in front of the classroom.
just peeing in the corner.
Yeah,
You know the webcam's on, right? So they know you're not cheating.
I know, but like
If you leave your chair,
3
you're
people are gonna
also
see that at most.
no, like if you leave your chair, then like and you move out of the camera thing, it invalidates your test.
Oh, I see.
So there was a no win. Trust me, I went through every like possible way to get out of this. And
Probably handled
the
it
only thing I could have done was piss my
the
pants.
best way. Yeah.
So yeah, that's my test story.
True
um,
test
true test of test.
decision making.
Yeah, I was like, I think I ended up getting a 56% on that test. And so I had a C in the class until my next test. So like I had done the math. Like if I didn't get an A on every single assignment from then on out, I would have like gotten a C in the class or something, and then lost my scholarship.
Thing.
So like I tried so hard in that class. Like, I was literally at every single office hour session, like, "I need help," even though I don't need help.
Yeah. Huh.
And then the second biology class, like, compared to, like, the amount of effort I had to put in that last one, it was so easy. But it was still, like, one of the hardest classes I've ever taken. 'Cause, like, my little brother is in, high school. Don't you have a little brother? Or is that someone else I'm thinking of?
Thinking of someone else.
I'm thinking of Bracken and his his little brother. Um, but, like, he keeps telling me that, all the teachers are like, "Oh, it's gonna be different in college," and, it's like the whole elementary, "Oh, it's gonna be different in junior high. They're not gonna let you turn things in." Yeah, you see?
Yeah,
And the only classes that applies to is science classes. So unless
that's
you're gonna be,
true.
like, a science major, it's just I don't know.
It's interesting how school is always just preparing you for the next thing. Like elementary school prepares you for junior high, and junior high prepares you for high school, which prepares you for college, and college prepares you for your career, and your career prepares you for retirement. And it's like, when can you ever just like be where you are and just do that thing without having to worry about the next part?
Just you're always it's like Minecraft, dude. It's like you never actually win. You're just trying to build the next project.
It's true.
Life is like Minecraft, except that it's on hardcore mode. There's no respawns
No response.
unless you're God. You
Which
bet.
I'm not. Are you? Are you God?
Dude, Jesus is the only one with like a negative KD. You ever think
Don't even
about
know
that?
what that means.
So like the kill death ratio.
Oh,
It's like if you kill someone and then die, or you die without killing someone, you just have a 0-0, or you have a 1-0, right?
mhm.
So positive KD. So Jesus raised people from the dead, which means he has negative kills, and then he also died,
Oh,
right? So he's like,
stats are off the charts.
he literally has a negative KD, the worst player ever, worst stats.
Worst stats, but best player.
Oh my gosh, dude, I was thinking about band recently because it started up again. My little brother's doing it or whatever.
Mhm.
Man, like I can't even remember like 80% of it. Like, is that the same for
Of
you?
concert band or marching band?
Marching band.
You just like don't remember anything at all?
Like, you know how like you watch a movie and you empathize with the characters. And you're like, man, I understand how that probably felt when this happened in this place at this time, right?
Uh-huh.
But you don't have any personal experiences to relate with it, right? Because you weren't there. But like kind of the general emotions of what happened, right?
Uh-huh.
Like that's kind of how I feel about band. But that's not what's the word? It's not unique to band. That's just everything, you know.
Yeah.
Like I took a trip to San Diego with some friends over the summer, and I made a video about it, and it was great and all that stuff. And then like last week, I was watching the video, and I was like, dude, I don't remember like a lot of this.
Who are
like,
these people?
well, it's not that. It's just like I
I
don't.
know.
It's just like I don't have like an experience to like draw upon when I think about it. But
Like
I
you
know I
know
was
what
there.
happened, but
Yeah, I know
like
what happened, but I don't know how I felt about it in the moment or just
uh
stuff like that. Like if someone asks me, "Oh, explain your trip," I could tell them what happened. They're like, "Oh, what'd you think about that?" I was like, "Dude, I don't really know." Like,
you got the content, but none of the context.
yeah, but like it wasn't because I filmed everything. Like that's just how everything is. So it was a conscious decision to film it, so I would actually have something
Mhm.
at the end of it all. But yeah, that's how like I'll watch certain videos from band. I was like, dude, I don't remember ever taking this video. Like I don't remember the context or anything.
I would never take videos in band. I don't think I have any.
Well,
It's kind of
because your
sad.
your because your phone was terrible.
That that is true. I had the slide phone until sophomore year.
Oh,
Even
you
then,
did? because you have the piano case phone too.
Yeah, my
That's
iPhone
that's that's one of
5C.
my headcanon for you.
I had that until my senior year. Then my senior year, I had a 6, which is a step up.
You did?
Yeah, I'm
Really?
pretty sure.
Did it have the
Yeah.
same did it have, like, a stupid blue case on it?
I think so. I don't remember. I have an 11. I'm I'm elite.
Even dude, the 11 is low key, like, best iPhone probably ever made until they come out with the new one with the
I've
good
seen
camera.
I've seen some stuff about the new one, but I haven't like really looked at it. I've just like seen that it's like coming out, but I haven't looked at anything about it yet.
I'm really not worried about looking at any of that kinda stuff because I don't wanna get phone envy, you know?
True. Probably wise. I think
But,
I've just accepted the fact that no way I'm gonna get it, so I can look into it all I want.
or you'll
It's
get
not
it in,
even
like, 5 years when it's obsolete.
exactly, yeah.
Dude, the 11 was the first phone I got where, like, it was the newest one, and then I got it because it just happened to be the year I upgraded from the 5,
Mhm.
and I was like it was literally like driving, like, a 1990 like, car and then going to, like, a 2021 car. I was like, "Dude, this has, like, what?"
I
Like
know, right?
like,
So much
face
easier to
recognition?
like I
This has
know.
AC that works? What?
It's crazy.
Freaking insane. And the camera, like, I use that phone to film everything.
Mm.
Like, I did a video of my trip to Yellowstone over the summer too. I was, like, literally making videos of everything, and I asked everyone to film so I could have, like, more perspectives to draw upon,
Right.
and some people have, like, 6s, and I think someone had a 5, and so, like, I'd go from my, like, my 4K 60 FPS footage to, like, someone's, like, 720, like, 5:4 aspect ratio, 30 FPS. I was like, "Dude, like, what am I seeing right now?"
Like I don't know if I'm gonna put this in the video.
Dude, like, for real, like, I only put in stuff I, like, absolutely needed. Like, it's there was some bad footage in there.
I
It
bet.
was not good,
Taking
but,
videos is fun though. It's a fun thing.
have you
Like I
taken any
hide
videos? Like, obviously you've taken videos, but, like, intentionally.
yeah, yeah.
Like, what have you done?
Um, well, me and my brother we would sometimes basketball and video it and then make like a highlight reel.
Did you put all,
But
like, the, ESPN effects and whatnot? The freaking
no,
out
it wouldn't be
announcers?
like all the good stuff we did. It would be all the stupid stuff we did.
Just the worst
And
stuff ever.
exactly. It's pretty legit, I'll admit.
My dad did that back in 1992, I wanna
Oh,
say, or 19 no, it was, like, 1987. He has an old video, they did that exact thing
wow.
because they were, like it was this really old thing where they were, like, mocking ASU because 'cause they're U of A guys. They're like,
Mhm.
"Oh, this is how ASU plays," and it's just them, like, just sucking. I was like, "I gotta find that somewhere." Like, literally, like, it was on film, and they had to convert it to, like, a CD or a
My
DVD.
gosh.
Yeah, it's, like, really old.
That's gonna be us in like 30 years. We're gonna be like, oh, it was on my iPhone. And everyone's gonna be like, whoa, that's so old when everything's all like
Just, like, in your
in your
brain.
brain.
Yeah, with the, what do you call it? Like, USBs. I hope USBs will be in the future because I have so much stuff on USB drives.
True.
Like,
I
I
don't
have
really have a
every
lot of
episode of
stuff.
this
I've
on
never really
USB
used
drives.
those.
Would recommend, dude. You gotta have physical copies of your iCloud and whatnot, just in case it all goes
Yeah,
bye-bye.
I'm running out of space.
Do you have the,
My
just
email.
the 5 gigabytes or the 60?
I think just the 5.
Oh.
Like my
Oh, your
Google
email, you're running out
Photos.
of space. Yeah, I've been at 99 on my my burner email for like 2 years now. I just delete everything I don't read,
Yeah. Delete everything you do read.
and that. But
Yeah, because it's all connected with my Google Photos, and so just because I have a bunch of pictures, I can't send emails, which doesn't make a lot of sense. I'll have to figure that out.
dude, it took me it took me like a week to get everything off of my iCloud because I had an issue with it where it would not sync because it was full, right?
Mhm.
And so because it didn't sync, I couldn't tell what I deleted and what I didn't delete. So I had
Oh,
to
yeah.
like go off of memory when I took them from the iCloud online, put them on a flash drive, deleted all of them on the online, but it couldn't sync. So it couldn't even say that it was empty because it was full.
Weird.
So I had to like figure out, okay, I deleted this photo. I had to like look through like over 3,000 photos and try to figure out what I deleted and what I didn't delete
Impressive.
on my phone and whatnot. And that was all just so my mom could be like, I want to see you and find my iPhone. So
Seems worth it.
I don't think it was worth it, but
It's not
it's
worth
worth
it.
it for different reasons. Because now I
Yeah, it's
have,
not worth it to you.
well, now I have space
Now
to
it is.
like, if I'm filming, dude, literally, it was, I had 20 gigabytes of footage from my Yellowstone trip. And I
Yep.
was like, I'm so glad I have an iCloud. Like, because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, I just uploaded all the iCloud and I'm like, oh, I'll look at this later. I didn't have to like sync it to my computer or whatever.
I don't think my iCloud has like backed up in over a year.
Dude, I forgot it even does that.
But I
It's
also
like
haven't
plug your
really
phone in with Wi-Fi and reliable power source.
exactly. I also haven't really deleted anything in over a year, so it's fine.
Have you ever gone through on a deleting fest? Like, oh, okay, what do I not need? Like this random screenshot of Canvas or whatever.
Yeah, I do that sometimes.
I was doing that a couple weeks ago, doing because I just finished my trip. I was like, okay, what do I not need anymore? Right? I deleted so many. It feels weird to delete those videos, even though I have a master copy of like all of them in like
Uh-huh.
a good way, like all edited together. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, there was like if I get rid of those, they're gone forever. It's like, no, I still have like three different versions of the main video.
True.
But I don't know, it feels weird.
'Cause you just worry that something is gonna happen to that one the main video you have, and then it's
Well, not
all gonna
even
be
that.
gone.
It's just like I don't delete videos like that because like they're good videos of memories of people I know and stuff. It'd be like I don't know. It's like your family photo, right? And you have it on the iCloud, and so if it burns, it's fine. But also, like, why you don't want to burn it?
Mhm.
It's like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you about band and like what your retrospective of it was because you got out of it before the whole COVID thing happened,
Yeah, I did.
but you were still
Um,
in concert band, so mostly just marching band mostly, and just like what things you can remember, like what dumb things you remember, what things like make you want to, put a bullet in your mouth because of how cringe they are.
I just remember, like, my freshman year, I remember that I was on snare with Kyler, who was a junior, and Chris, who is a senior,
Hmm.
and I could tell that they were, like didn't like how they were on snare line with the freshmen and how they knew I was good, but they still, like, treated me like I wasn't good. So I always felt, like, the need to, like, prove myself to them and, like, try to be, like to get them to like me. Like, that was my whole mission my freshman year.
And then like I think after marching band, like they like just didn't talk to you at all or something like that.
Yeah.
Like
It was
just straight
also
up.
weird because like, that same year, my math class
Was Kyler in it?
Kyler was in it,
Because he actually told me about that.
only for, like, 2 days because then I had to move classes. hours just for something. We were in the same math class for, like, a few days, so that was also I'm sure that was just weird for him.
Like, so I ate lunch with him, Chris, and Nico, like, every day that year. I remember one day Kyler just shows up to the table, he's like, "Guys, you know that crew kid?" He's like, "He's in my math class." It's like, "Dude, I am so dumb." He's like, "Why is he in there?"
That's funny.
He was so annoyed about that. And Chris was just like, "Dude, like, some people are just better, you know?" And Kyle was like, "Dude, I but it's crew, I don't care."
Yeah, so weird. It's been so strange for him.
Dude,
Oh,
he's in
well.
Alaska now, you know that, right?
Did not know that. I
Yeah.
really haven't talked to him since freshman year
Well, I wouldn't expect you to, but,
or
like,
known anything about him.
yeah, he kinda turned into, um, like a scuffed Randy Johnson in junior year, and then he left. But, because he wasn't a senior, only Chris was.
Yeah, he dropped out.
Dude, I forgot he dropped out mid-year, he's disappeared. We're like, "Where'd he go?" Wasn't it, like I wanna say it was a month before graduation, he just dipped. Like, he was literally
That's
so
strange.
close.
No, why would you do if you're that
I
close?
was like I think he was gonna pass too. Just freaking gone.
Nico too drops out.
He got his GED
Miss
though,
Nico.
so he's
Yeah, yeah,
doing good.
that's true.
He's in a band with Chris still. Apparently, they're making money.
Joy,
Yeah.
I I listen to their stuff every now and then.
I have one song that shows up on, one of my playlists, and I skip it every time because, like, I'm just that's the only song of theirs I have on there, so that's the only one I hear, so it's just like it's like a drone at this point. Like, I've
I'm
gotten to
not
that point with a lot of my playlists where, like, I'm skipping so many songs because 'cause I've heard them.
yeah,
So Spotify added this smart shuffle thing. You know what that is?
no.
So basically, it takes songs in your playlist and it will play them after each other if they sound good together or if they're in
Oh,
like the same general area.
right.
They need a shuffle option where like it plays the least played songs in your playlist. Dude, that'd be the
That's
greatest
true.
thing ever.
It's like I probably have 20,000 plus songs
20,000?
just like added to my library, not like in my playlist or anything, but just in my library in general.
Mm.
And like when I'm in the car, I'll just shuffle all of it. It's surprising, like how many songs I'll get like multiple times in a week.
Yeah,
There'll be
and some that you like never hear.
some that I've never hear. Like, I don't know how their algorithm works, but it's interesting.
Sometimes it feels like it's only playing stuff you don't want to hear. It's like, dude, like
It's true.
if I wanted,
Sometimes it
I
just
should just like
misses
select the
completely.
song. I should just, add whatever I want to queue before I leave at this point.
Sometimes it really hits though. It gets me just what I was wanting.
Mm. What I found to do is I have a bunch of playlists that I haven't touched since 2016, and I'll go back and play them. I'm like, dude, like what was I thinking? Like when I made this, and some of them like they're just straight up sad because like every kid is depressed in high school. I'm
True.
like, dude, I don't want to feel sad. I'm not gonna listen to this.
Why did I do this to myself?
Yeah, but in the moment, it was like, ooh, this makes me feel some sort of way. This is fantastic. I love feeling
Yeah,
sad. Isn't that weird? How
it's
like
weird. I
there's
like
a
when you're
point where you're
sad, you
like,
want to listen to sad music to make you feel more sad.
yeah, well, not even that. Like just in high school, you're like, man, feeling sad feels better than feeling happy. I'm so edgy.
Who can explain the mind of a high schooler?
Do you ever go through that? I don't remember you ever being sad. Besides like a couple off days where like, oh, don't talk to crew. He's sad. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I definitely had my days, but I was never really like in a general sense, like, sad about life.
Man was never depressed.
It was like it was just, like, mental for me, like, if I was sad, then I just, like, decided to be happy, and I would, like, smile. At first, it felt fake, and then after a while, it was, like, actually just happy because I chose to be.
Hmm. For me, it's now a matter of effort. It
Mhm.
is so much easier to be happy than it is to be sad now, whereas before it was the other way around.
True.
So I'm just lucky it switched. Cause
Yeah,
like
because in high school, you have so much, like, going on, like, there's a lot that you could be sad about. But now I feel like there's just less in our lives, so it's just easier to be happy.
that's something I've been talking to people a lot about was just like how crazy your hormones were and how
Mhm.
hard stuff hit that shouldn't have hit that hard. Like I remember like every night I would listen to like ethereal EDM music because it hit so hard. And like I knew it wouldn't hit that hard later in life. So I was like, I gotta take advantage of this like freaking this this natural high I have just because I'm this old.
Mhm.
And like I don't know, like I kind of miss it because I don't feel that intensely about anything anymore. Even though like
Yeah.
the high school stuff was so a lot of it was trivial, but like at least you were engaged in it, I guess. I don't know the right way to put that.
Right, like, it's super so much of the stuff that is important in high school is not important at all, but, like, it feels important because that is just your life for the 4 years.
Well, not that like it's a matter of perspective, but just like you had the emotional capacity to devote that much to it. That's what I mean.
Mm,
Like I have things that matter more and I know they matter more and it's all I have in my life like like film stuff. But like
mhm.
I just don't have the emotional reserve to like, oh, I'm going to get really into this to where like it's going to wreck me emotionally if I mess up. It's just
Yeah,
like I just don't care anymore.
true.
It's like just in general, it's like, oh, it's not the whole like, oh, I don't care. That's cool if you don't care. But just like even if I want to care, it's hard to like care that much. Like you remember the whole issue with the drumline cadences, right? Back in the day. It's just like how crazy that was. That's like, dude, I don't think I would have the energy to like care about that now. Like
You mean
just
just,
straight up,
like
I just don't have the energy to put into that.
wait, what do you mean about the cadences, though?
Like how people were really upset and some people were crying because they like took away some cadences.
Oh, yeah.
And like it was like the end of the world for a lot of people. Like back then I didn't care as much because I was like, dude, like I have other things I'm working on. Like marching
Mhm.
band is not the only music thing I'm doing right now. But some people were just freaking wrecked over it. I was like, oh my gosh.
I wouldn't say I was, like, wrecked, but I was, like, disappointed because, like, marching band sucked, but the cadences were, like, the fun part, and she was taking away all the fun parts.
You're just
So I
taking
was just
away the
like
fun, man.
I was like, "Why am I even doing this anymore?"
I've been
And I quit.
I've been talking to Nathaniel about band and stuff and what he's telling me, and I keep how the whole like, oh, looking back with rose tinted glasses, it's better than it was.
Mhm.
It's the opposite for me. I'm looking back, I'm like, dude, that was not as good as I thought it was.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, we got cucked big time. Like, I'm glad I didn't go to that school from another school because I would have been like, oh, dude, this ain't it.
True.
Like Troy, he had come from like a California school,
Yeah.
and then he showed up there junior year, and he was just like, bruh, like what? Like what is happening? I forget if he even stayed in it for senior year. Do you remember? I remember
I don't remember
because
because I wasn't in it.
I know, but he quit concert band. I know that,
Yeah.
but I forget if he also quit the marching band too. I think he did. dropped out. I remember when Nico quit band, that was like a huge deal.
Yeah.
People were like, "Oh my gosh, you're quitting band, but you're staying in band. Is that even allowed to do that?" Oh my god.
Remember how Amir would quit every year and then every year he'd come
Oh
back
yeah,
until that
freaking
one
Amir,
year
dude. Where
and
he quit for real.
he never came back. Although he said he would, he didn't.
I actually really liked Amir. I forgot about him till just now. But he was really like present person. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah,
Like whatever he was doing, he was there for. He wasn't like thinking about anything else.
true.
Even if it was just like talking to you, like you could tell he was actually listening. I was like, wow, dude,
I think
look at
about him whenever I go to Sonic,
that. He
because he
worked
used
at
to work at
Sonic.
Sonic. Yeah. So
Do
then
you
I'm
know?
always like, he used to
You
work
remember
here.
Ven?
Yeah,
Yeah, he worked
still
there
works there,
too.
right?
I think he might still work there. I saw him recently.
I think my
Uh,
mom said that she always sees him walking to work.
that's so eerie, dude. That's incredibly eerie. He's like stuck in this like just perpetual work. He hasn't
Ven.
progressed anywhere. Oh, dude, that
Short
reminds
for
me
vengeance.
because he was avenging all the small children at his elementary or something. I think it was he literally told me his origin story one time where like he was in elementary school or was it junior high or something pre high school and he was like the only tall kid, so he protected all the little kids, and he was
Hmm.
their vengeance against their bullies. So he was named Vengeance.
That's so lit.
It's not though.
It's not, but it is.
You know his Sonic tag says Ven.
What's his real name?
His real name is Khalil,
Oh yeah.
but like he's really taken that like dude,
Like it's
he in his senior thing where they walk there all the kids walk down they're like this is what they want to do when they grow up, right?
Mhm.
Like he'd written this whole like WWE like intro. The announcer actually read it. He's like, "Give it up for vengeance."
It's one thing to
Unbelievable.
like have a nickname in elementary school and then it just like sticks. It's another thing to like live by it like religiously your whole life.
But like, I think he gave himself the nickname. Like it was a self-imposed nickname, and he just
That
like
is
kept
also
going.
different.
That's like that's really bad. Like they call me, Larry the Lobster. Why? Well, because I said so. It's like, okay.
They
It's
call
like
me because I call me.
wait, that's what happened just now. I called you because you were like, "Hey, call me,
Call me.
call me
It's
maybe."
crazy. To be fair, I thought I was coming over.
Well, I'm sorry I spoiled that for you.
Oh, that's okay. I didn't really want to leave the house. So this way is better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't even know what you look like anymore.
yeah. Because if you saw me in December, my hair is way longer now.
It is
Yeah. Well, I don't know. This and my
because I
hair
thought you
is
were
a
like doing this
trilogy.
weird thing.
I don't need to get into the whole hair saga right now, but
Why not?
and if you want,
Because I last time I saw you, it was like a perm that was unkept, and you just like kept it all in a hat. And that was the last I saw. I was like, wow, he's like
mm,
not. He does not care.
no, that's not true. I know that's not true because my hair had a perm
Hmm.
for a while, like a year. And
Worst
I
decision you ever made.
shaved it all off. Then it just started growing.
Wait, so you had a shaved head, and I missed that?
Apparently. 'Cause I remember do you remember when I went to the DR and I got my hair braided and I sent you that
Yeah, yeah,
picture?
you culturally appropriated the DR, I remember that.
Hey, the lady on the beach did. But then I buzzed it, like, short, like, really short. I
Did
still
you
had
try to get
hair.
your hair out of that, or did you just kick it off from there?
I could've, like, undid the braids, but
You didn't just wanna see what your hair looked like after you undid everything?
yeah, cause I didn't know what to do with it. Cause like you said, it was just the perm that had grown out. I kept it all in a hat, and so I had no idea what I would do with it, so I decided to start fresh. And
So
then
now you look like Justin Bieber in 2011?
no, please don't think that in your head while you talk to me. No, it just started growing, and all my hair was the same length on my head because it was all buzzed.
Yeah.
So then it was just, like, really long and all the same length and really gross until, like, April. So when you last saw me in, like, till December, it was just growing, and it was all the
It was
same
just
length.
terrible.
Yeah,
So you had
then it
4 months of terrible hair. How did you get away with that? Because you have to go to
like
church on Sunday.
yeah, I would wear a hat every day still.
You can
I
do that?
still do pretty much
You can wear a
because
hat at church?
I like to, but not at church. Not at church,
That's what
it
I'm
would just
saying,
be a
like, what did you do on
mess.
Sundays?
But yeah, on Sundays, I would just go to church, and
And just
if
look
anyone
awful.
judged me, then that's their problem, right?
They're just
Cast the mote
unpure.
out of thine own eye. But yeah, and then cut it in April to the point where, like, it looked nice.
Mm,
Like, I had some good hair. 'Cause I put in my papers for going on my mission.
mhm.
Part of that is, like, submitting a photo where, like, I'm in mission, like,
Ah,
standards of grooming and stuff.
they have mission
So, I
standards
had
of
nice
grooming?
like, your hair
Like,
can't
how
be
specific is that?
I don't know, I can look. But, like,
'Cause everyone I know just kinda looks the same already, so, like, they don't have to change anything. Like, Sam and, what's his name? And Tommy, like, they pretty much looked the same, and then Bracken has looked the same since, what is it, like, kindergarten or something? Are you there? We may have gone into some technical difficulties here, ladies and gentlemen. I
"Oh,
don't know where our man went. Hello?
hello?"
What did you do?
I went into a different web page.
Yeah, I couldn't hear anything you were saying.
I didn't know that it would just, like, not pick me up.
Oh, you're on Discord on a browser?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
because I don't have the app, and I didn't wanna get the app.
Dude, you gotta get the app.
I probably won't.
This will probably be the last time you use Discord, unless we do another one of these.
It's true.
Anyway,
But
standards of grooming are not that important, unless you already have
I
them.
found them. They're
Okay.
already up. Be neat and clean. Bathe, brush your teeth, wash your face, use deodorant daily, naturally. Wash your hands regularly, blah, blah, blah. Wear sunscreen, wash your hair. This part, choose a neat conservative hairstyle that is easy to maintain and does not draw attention.
So no liberal hairstyles.
Right. It
No
just can't be like,
Democrats.
yeah. It just has
It
to be
must
neat
be as
and
that of a
tidy.
Republican. It's hilarious. Conservative hairstyle. They could have chose a better word.
Probably. But yeah, my
That's
hair was
funny.
not very neat nor conservative.
No, it looked like a pot smoker, probably.
Probably.
Dude, my little brother has gotten into that whole like vintage Goodwill fashion trend,
Yeah.
and he legit just looks like a pot smoker from LA. Like, like whenever he puts on those clothes, because he has like these bellhop jeans or whatever. I don't even know why those are in style anymore, but they suck.
Me neither. I agree.
And he has like, oh, who's someone who looks like that? I don't know someone in the mainstream who looks like, but like the curtains, the white boy curtains,
No.
like the with hair, not actual curtains, like the middle split. It kind of just comes around your face.
Yes.
Yeah. So like that's
Yeah.
kind of what he has right now. Plus like the weird vintage vibe. I was like, dude, you just need like a blunt and you're set.
That's kind of the hair I have right now.
You've curtains?
But it's less of that. It is a middle part, and it's not so much just like a separation, but it kind of waves around.
You're gonna have to send me a picture after this,
I will. I'll find a good one,
or just
and
like
I'll show you.
FaceTime me after this. But
I'll just send you a picture.
well, now I'm
We've
really
already been talking
curious.
for so long.
And it really hasn't been that long.
How long do these usually go for?
It really depends on the day because it's always just me, right?
That's
And
true.
so I can only physically talk for so long without killing my voice. Like this isn't that bad because um like the pauses are natural. Whereas like when I'm just by myself, if there's a pause, I'm like, I have to fill the void. And it doesn't help that there's literal like sound waves in front of me telling me when there's no talking. And I just see like the static, like your deadline go for too long. And I'm like, oh shoot, I have to say something now. And so yeah, I literally have like in my notes app, I have how many I have 51 subjects I could talk about
Wow,
with exposition. Yeah.
it's impressive. How long has this one been going for? I don't even
This
know
one's
when
been
we
going
started.
for 56 minutes and 42 seconds.
See, that's kind of long.
It is kind of long,
It
but
has.
it
It
does it.
hasn't felt like that long.
No, it feels pretty normal, which is nice. Like, um, one of my topics in here is how insulting car washes must be to third world countries. Like, like there's so many layers of why they would be insulting. Like, one, we're using clean water to just like wash the car, right? We have an entire infrastructure built
Cars they don't even
around
have.
that. Yeah, they don't even have cars, and our cars are ruining their climate, right? And so we're like, oh, we got to keep our world destroyers clean, right? It's just like like so many things like could be insulting that you don't even think about, like Uncrustables. Look, we hate food so much that we decided to make a product with less food. Like, like eat your crust. Oh, I don't want to eat the crust. It's like, oh, starving children in Africa. Well, now we have Uncrustables, so that excuse doesn't work anymore. There just is no crust.
Yeah.
It's it's
I,
just dumb stuff like that.
I wonder how many like gallons, like tons of water that car washes use
Oh, dude,
in the
it has to
country,
be
like
in the
per
like
day.
per day. It
Yeah,
has to be in the billions, right?
probably.
Because
Because
like
like
one
how many
car wash,
different car wash like corporations, I guess,
well,
you
there's a
know,
ton of
just
local
in this
ones.
town?
Yeah. Well, we have dust storms, so it's kind of a big thing here,
That's
and there's
true.
not a lot of rain, so
That's
everything's
just
just always dusty.
it's a lot of water.
But like, in order to have pressure, you have to have a lot of water, and those
It's
things
true.
work on pressure, and so there has to just be a lot of water in general, just due to the nature of it. Not to mention like how much is used.
Yeah.
It's freaking nuts.
Do you think they reuse the water? Like it cycles through the bottom,
I
comes
don't
back
know.
out.
I hope they do because we live in a desert.
I don't know where all that water would go. It'd just be
In
pouring out.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure
Wherever
they
in the
reuse it.
sewers,
Goes
I
into
don't know.
sewers somewhere.
Can't have my Mercedes Benz get all with that old water, right? No old water.
Wouldn't dream of it.
I don't know why, but Mercedes is still the dumb person car to me, even though it should be BMW.
Hmm.
What's the dumb person car to you? Like you see a car and you're like, oh shoot.
Kia Soul.
Kia's You're just like, I need to avoid the Kia Soul.
There's like a I'm pretty sure my senior year in my English class, someone had written on the board, today is like Kia Soul Hate Day or something. Like it was like a
Were you
national
in
day.
Labori's class?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Grant. 'Cause there's this girl in our class who drives a Kia Soul,
Huh?
and we would clown on her every single day. We're like, "Hey, Jordan, what'd you drive to school?" She's like, "Kia Soul." I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" Like that English class was so good to me though. Like it was great. Like because it was COVID year. Like we didn't have to really do anything, and
Mhm.
everyone in there was like the people who had been together since seventh grade. We just all like came together one last time. The schedules just worked out that way,
Yeah.
and so it was such a good vibe in there. We had to do a podcast in there, and I found that podcast when I was cleaning out my Gmail storage.
Hmm.
It's incredible. It's me, Grant, and Tarek talking about critical race theory. So,
That sounds like it would be a trip, to say
well,
the
we have
least.
every race in there. So
Exactly.
we called it the Neapolitan podcast. Got every slice of the rainbow going on.
That's genius.
Dude, it was great. It's almost as good as the Asian Caucasian.
Nothing could beat that. The Asian Caucasian newspaper should have been a podcast. That would have been a good idea.
Should just, dude. If I could hear myself in seventh grade talking like that, I would literally shoot my computer. Like it'd be over. Like I couldn't do it. Like even this now, I'm gonna have to listen to this years from now, and I'll be like,
You're just
dude,
gonna cringe.
it's gonna be bad. Hopefully, it won't be too bad, but actually, hopefully, it will be bad because if it's not that bad, that means like I hadn't matured at all. So
That's true. You listen back and you're like, wow,
I'm
this
pretty
is really
cool,
like, this is in depth.
and I really think I was onto something here. But yeah, man. What else could we talk about?
Um,
So I really
I
wanted to
don't
get
know.
into like high school stuff, but you seem to remember as much as I do, unfortunately.
Nothing.
Yeah.
High school was just really dumb, and I got rid of most of it.
You just control alt deleted high school.
Yeah, pretty much. It was so pointless.
You think so?
Well, I think a lot of it was pointless. Like the knowledge that you gain, blah blah blah, that can be useful if you like use it in college and stuff. Like that part wasn't pointless. But just so much of like it's just like a popularity contest.
Well, it depends on why you were there. You did win the popularity contest, so let's be
That's
fair.
true. That's the irony of it. It's
You
like
did win.
my my junior year, I was like, cause freshman, sophomore year, I had friends, blah blah blah. I would hang out with them all the time. But then like junior year when COVID hit and like you stop hanging out with your friends, you kind of like are able to take that step back and like view your life from like a bird's eye view.
Uh-huh.
And I was just like, high school is a waste of time. Like that part of high school is a waste of time
Okay,
because
okay.
it only lasts till you graduate, and after that, 95% of like your friends or the people you know, you're never gonna see them or speak to them again. So like, why waste time trying to like make them think you're cool? You know?
Would you waste time building relationships?
No,
Is
like
that a waste of
important.
time?
I don't think so. As well as long as those relationships like will continue. I think
Well, you
because
don't
like
know
it's
that, right? Like you don't know. I
I
could have never
knew
spoken to you again, and it,
I knew that there were some friendships that would continue. Like I knew that there would be people who I was close enough with or that I've known for long enough that I would like still talk to them afterwards.
Mm.
And then I knew that there were some people who I see them in math class and, like, we're not
Yeah.
friends.
Okay,
So it's
those kind of
different.
I see what you mean. I just thought you meant, like, just people in your general circle where you're like, "Yeah, I probably won't talk to them again, so why do they matter?"
There were definitely some of those people too.
Because like, I don't know, because I kinda feel the opposite way about that, like, I think that was the fun part of high school, because like, you know it doesn't matter, so anything goes.
That's true.
It's like a giant playground, like, literally, I was telling people in senior year, I was like, "Dude, we're just in, like, a giant social playground, like, there are no consequences." Like, "Oh, no,
Yeah,
you look bad," like, "Oh, after you graduate, it's all wiped clean," you
that's
know?
true. That's like the same realization, but like a different execution.
Mm. So when I realized that, I think it was, like, end of sophomore year. It's just like it was the amount of social stress I had just went way down. It's like, "Oh, I can just do whatever I want. Nobody it won't matter."
Yeah,
I think it's really funny you did win the popularity contest, though.
I think that's funny too.
Was it like a sweep or was it kinda close? Do you know?
I
For
think I
reference, we're talking
talked
about an actual popularity contest. It's not metaphorical. There's a
that's
legit
true.
popularity contest that he won.
Big man on campus, all the not all the, but some of the senior guys would have a swimsuit portion, a talent portion, and a Q and A portion. It was basically a beauty pageant, and I won. I think I talked to Jones afterwards, and he said that it was not very close.
Wow.
'Cause
Pretty
I think that's kind of different from a popularity contest because, like, there were judges, like, the teachers were judges, and they judged
Oh, the
all of
teachers
us.
judged?
Yeah,
I thought it was a
they judged
student
all of
vote.
us.
Whoa.
No, there was a student vote section, the Mr. Congeniality, and I didn't win that.
Oh, okay. So you
Yeah,
lost.
so I lost the popularity contest, but I won the beauty pageant.
Okay.
Right,
So
but
you
it's
were
still,
definitely
like
you were the type of material that, like, a middle-aged woman would like. Is that what you're saying?
yeah. I guess so.
Have you ever looked at it that way?
Nope.
If you think about it, if it's, like, teachers judging, that's kinda weird because not everyone is 18 when they hit senior year, but anyway, like, let's not get anyone arrested. You know,
Well
I don't regret not going because the only reason I would go would be to see you, and that's kinda
mhm.
gay if I'm only going to see you, so no, like,
That's true.
actually, I really didn't like anyone else in there, so I was like, "Why
Yeah,
would I go watch people I dislike prance around on a stage?" Like
that's true. Some of the people in there were just, like, not cool.
that doesn't make sense to me, it's like, how can you get this far, like, being that dumb? You know what I'm saying?
And yeah.
Like, you see some of the people in there, it's like, "Dude, is there anything happening up there?" Dude,
It
I
was
don't
an
know, dude, high
interesting
school is
competition.
it's a weird environment because, like, I don't think there's anywhere else where you have that much control over what your world is at that point.
That's true.
Like, relative to actual world experiences, you're kind of a god in high school. You kinda just be like, "Oh, I wanna become sports guy. Alright, let's become sports guy." Or, I wanna be the smartest person in my world. I'm gonna be super genius."
Yeah,
So you can kinda do whatever you want. It's really weird.
because you can choose, like, the kind of group that you're a part of, and those people are the people who are going to influence the person you become in the future. So you really have, like, control over who you become, basically.
Yes and no. I think if you develop too much in high school, you're just gonna, like, peak, but, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
guess it's
like,
not necessarily, like, defines you, but, like, it definitely plays an important factor. Like, if I did band my whole life, my whole high school career, and, like, the people that I hung out with in band and, like, the things I did in band definitely, like, influenced the kind of person I was, and I didn't really, like, hang out with people in band very much.
yeah.
Like, I definitely could have gone a whole different way.
Do you wish you hung out with band people more? Because like, you were like a weird case where like you were really deep in it, but like you didn't hang out with anybody, and you kind of like showed up and then you left.
I know. Oh, I know, it was weird. I don't know if I think there are some people in band that I wish I hung out with more, just because, like, they seem like good people.
Uh huh.
I don't regret, like, hanging out with a band. Like, when they're all together,
Hmm.
I I don't feel like I missed out on anything there. But, like, specific people that I could have, like, got to know better, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like there's I want to say maybe three people from band I still talk to. One of them is Grant, but I don't really consider him part of band. You know, he's kind of like a whole different thing.
Mhm.
But I still talk to Mark, and I still talk to Tanner, and I still talk to Jared Ardente and Will Riley occasionally. But
Me
other than that,
sometimes.
like if they hit me up, I'll talk to them, or if I see something on their story I think is funny, I'll comment and then we'll have a conversation.
Right.
But there's some people like I still follow them and I see their story and it's just like cookie clicker. It's like I don't care.
Yeah.
But I'm actually gonna talk to Mark this week probably, which is weird because like you were like one of four people that like have hit me up last week and like, hey, you want to catch up?
Mm,
Maybe it's because school's
strange.
starting. People are like, oh shoot, I haven't talked to this guy in like a year. Maybe I should like talk to them. But
Maybe. I
it's
think that I've
busy.
been doing that a lot recently with different people. Cause, like, I have a couple friends who just left on their missions, like, in the
Hmm.
last couple weeks, and we were, like, friends in high school, we would hang out every now and then, but, like, after graduation, we wouldn't really, like, make the time to, like, hang out with each other. But once they were leaving, then I was like, "Wait, like, this is my friend, like, I want to, like, see them before they go," and so, like, I'd, like, take them to lunch or something, and we would just catch up, and then they'd be gone. So I think that's, like, 'cause I'm gonna leave on my mission next month, and so I think more and more I've just been like, "Wait, like, I'm not gonna be able to see this person for 2 years, like,
Yeah.
I wanna see them again, talk to them again, and stuff like that." So there's definitely been, like, different people that I've thought of and been like, "Wait, like, I wanna see this person." So,
Has there been any moments where you're like, wow, that was like a surprising amount of closure I got from that? Like you didn't expect it. You were just like, oh, I kind of want to meet up again. And then you're like, oh, wow, that was actually really emotionally helpful.
um, I think so. I can't think of anything, like, specifically,
Hmm.
but
So I had that with Bracken. I know you didn't talk to him that much, but
yeah.
because he was my best friend in kindergarten
Wow.
and then in sixth grade. And then we started talking again in senior year. And so he was like the one guy I was pretty constant with my entirety of like schooling.
Yeah,
Because
that
like
was that
I
was one of my
cycled through so
friends
many friends.
that was one of my friends who just left. We were best friends in kindergarten, um, and then, like, we were on and off, like, as the years went on. But yeah, it's like that.
Because he was telling me about stuff because like I said at the beginning, like I don't remember like stuff I should remember, but he has a really good memory. And so he was just telling me about like elementary stuff and junior high stuff. I was like, I literally never thought of these since they happened, and it was just so weird. I was like, dude, like like I should have done one of these with him. It's
Yeah.
like that would have been insane if I did that. But he's gone now for I think he's doing the 3-year one because he's a legend. But
Hmm,
um,
gonna be me.
you're gonna be like, actually, I don't want to come back. I hate you guys. Let me stay out.
That is like a thing though. Like
Really?
people, yeah. Not well, not like as intense as you just said, but like their mission will be like ending, and they'll be like, I don't want to leave, like because they love it out there.
Mm.
Because like if you think about like just like serving people, I don't know
Well,
if you
yeah,
ever done
I'm
like
sure I'm sure the endorphins are nuts.
yeah, yeah. If you've ever done like I don't know, like feed my starving children or something like that, or just like any random like thing where you just like help people, but
Mhm.
like you're doing that for like 2 years straight, and it's like such like a good thing that like you don't want to like go home, and so people will definitely have that kind of stuff, but most of them do choose to come home just because you know
Yeah, they haven't seen people for, like, 2 years.
exactly like that
I think
that
it's,
was it was their
I
plan. So
I think it's kinda weird that, like, you literally don't even, like, see people for that long.
yeah,
Like, obviously, you see people, you're helping people, but, like, the people, like, your
like
home
your
base.
people. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I don't know, like, I'd at least, like, be like, "Hey, can I, like, see him on Christmas or something?" You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
I'm not, like, deployed in Iraq, like, come on.
Yeah. You can video chat home every week,
Mhm.
and so then I'll be able to like see my family, and if they're like at the dance studio, then I can call and like talk to the people at the dance studio. So I can do that, but like I'm sure being in Idaho, I'll see a lot of people that I know who are just
Really?
there. Yeah. My
You
friend
just
was
know a lot of
in
people there?
I just think that that's a place that a lot of people go to, like people in the state that I know. They like go to Idaho on vacation or something.
The only reason I'd ever go to Idaho is to go to Glacier National Park or Yellowstone National Park.
Yeah.
But, like, Idaho, man, jeez, that's God's country up there, you know? But, yeah, that shouldn't be too bad considering.
Mhm.
The mosquitoes are awful, but, um, no, that's a very red state. It's not like you're going to New York or something.
Yeah.
You imagine, dude? You're like, some, like, naked person comes up to you in Times Square, like, "Can I tell you about Jesus?" Like, just smell a cloud of weed smoke in your face. "What? What about that?" Dude, I was gonna ask you this great question, and I forgot what it was.
Well,
I
should I
know.
just like say a joke until then?
Tell me a
Till
joke,
you
sure.
remember it?
Yeah, tell me a joke.
What did the DJ name his son?
Jock.
No.
No? What do you name his son?
Rick?
Okay, so I remember a question actually, that was actually very helpful.
You're welcome.
Um, what's your retrospective on the whole dance thing? Because you did that before and after band. Like, that
Yeah.
supersedes band.
I've been dancing since I was like 3 years old.
That's what
So
I'm saying, like,
that has definitely always been my priority above anything else in my
because
life, other than like
it
maybe
was
school.
like freaking James Bond. You were James Bond with that kinda stuff. Because like, we heard about it, but we never saw anything, you
Yeah.
know?
Until
At
Big
least the
Man.
high school bros, until Big Man, which I did not go
That
to.
yeah.
So, I still haven't seen anything. I think you
Well,
actually showed me one of your thingies at one point, but that's beside the point.
probably. Um So what was the question?
So like, what kind of like in terms of like how like band what that did for you, but like with dance, like what did that do for you in terms of like because you were talking about like oh you could choose who you wanted to be, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And like those people influence you. And so like were you with the same people for like those 12 years?
Um, kind of, because initially the studio I was with was called Campbell's Dance Studio,
Like
and
the
then
oh I was gonna say like the cigarettes, but it's Campbell's. Okay.
like the soup. And there's a lot of people that I like, grew up with, and then it got bought out by Power Elite Dance Studio. Um, and so then I spent a couple years with like some of the same people from Campbell's, but also these new people who live in Globe that came over here to train with us. And so that was a weird time. But then they got bought out by Inspire Entertainment. And so then it was like still some of the same people from the beginning, but none of the second group. And now this whole new like third group of people from Gilbert. And so definitely a lot of the people stayed the same and like stayed constant. A lot of the teachers and some of the students. But there's been like a lot of new people that I've got to like work with, which I like how it's been fresh to have like new people.
So
But
that so would you consider them like they were your primary social group and then high school was like secondary?
um honestly it's like it's gone back and forth because when I was a kid I never really like hung out with dance people because it's primarily girls. Like there was me and my brother and like one other guy and we would hang out at dance but we wouldn't like hang out outside of that. So like most
Mhm.
of my life growing up I wouldn't really hang out with dance people outside of dance. Um, but then like my freshman year, eighth grade, kind of, I started to like get closer with them, and I would do some stuff with them. But then like freshman sophomore year, I definitely had this really tight group of kids from high school that I would hang out with. And then there was one year where I had like this completely different group that I would hang out with. But now it's like mostly dance people again.
Hmm.
So it goes back and forth, and it's strange.
So you leave in a month. So with your dancing, are you like just doing that up till you leave or are you taking a break?
Yeah, I'm doing as much as I can up until I leave. Last year after graduation, I was still like part of the hip hop crew.
Uh-huh.
Um, and
That's what
most
you showed
people
me.
like,
You showed me the hip hop thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
most people when they graduate, they will like not dance anymore just because they'll do other life stuff. But I didn't want to because I like dance. And so I did another year after I graduated, and then this year I have been like a teacher and choreographer. Um, and me and my brother we have like 7 dances that we need to finish before I leave. And so
For
that's
other
what we've
people
been doing
or between you two?
for other people
Ah.
because we're not doing anything this year because competition is in like the spring, and so I'll be gone way before
Hmm.
then. And so we have like some solos for other people. We have some group numbers. We have like this one big number with a bunch of people. We choreographed for Mesa High, their dance team.
Oh, that's
We
cool.
did something for them because we have a
Do you get
couple
paid for it?
of yeah, yeah.
Nice.
We have a couple of students who go there, and so they got us in. Yeah, we just have a bunch of stuff, so we've just been spending a lot of time doing that and choreographing and teaching and all that stuff, and that's been fun.
Is that more fun than actually doing it? Or 'cause obviously
Um,
it's a different type of fulfillment, but
yeah,
you know.
I don't know, cause there's like being on stage and doing it. That's like the best feeling. Like when you get off the stage and you're like done. Like that's I don't think anything can beat that. But I really love creating. like being with my brother and like we come up with something and we're just like running around the room screaming like, "This is so fire!" Like that feeling.
Yeah.
That's a really good feeling too. So I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I think like being able to like create and like throw it together with like teach it to the people and then like put them in their formations and like add the visuals and it's just like it's a process that's like really fulfilling. You get to see like their progression. Um,
Yeah.
you don't ever get to like be the one to perform it. So I don't know.
Does
They're
that
both
bug
good.
you at all? Not in the bad way bug you, but you just like you're seeing them like do their thing. You're like, dang, I wish I could be doing that right now.
Yeah, I love performing. You might know this, but my junior and senior year, as part of Inspire Entertainment, we also had like a vocal performance company.
Yes, the
Like,
Kermit thing, right?
yeah, yeah. So I did that my junior and senior year, and then the year after, I didn't do that, and I would just like help out. And at their show, I was backstage, and I was like, oh, I just want to be out there. Like, I wish I was like
Mm.
performing instead of being backstage. So yeah, it definitely like it bugs me a little bit, but not, but in just a way where it's like I miss like being on stage like that.
I feel
And
like it's almost
so
like secondhand smoking, you know?
yeah,
It's like you're not quite, you're just kind of like feeding off of their energy that they get from doing that. You're like, ah,
hmm
yeah, okay. You know?
yeah. So this year I'll be gone before I get to see any of the dances performed, so I won't have that kind of
So
same
it's all
feeling.
futile and it's gonna ruin your life.
No.
That was sarcasm, but yeah, it's funny that like because when you're talking about kind of the reaction to seeing, choreography come together, I was thinking
hmm
like what that's like in the film world in terms of like
Yeah.
editing and whatnot. And literally the equivalent to that is like, you put something together, you put the music in, and you look at it and it's done. You're just like you sit there, you stare at the screen, you're like, bruh. And then that's it. That's the whole that's
Yeah.
the entire reaction. Like, dude, that's how I react when I see like really good movies. Like I saw Inception the other night for the first time. At the end of it, it's just like, dude. And then that was, that was like my whole reaction.
Dude. Yeah. I think it's because in hip hop, like the choreography that me and my brother do is so like high energy.
Oh yeah,
When
you
we
have
see
to
it
like,
done, we
yeah.
have to have like the energy. They're giving us so much energy, and then we're like yelling back at them, like, "Let's go! Like, give me more!" And so like, there's just that constant like back and forth of energy that by the end of it, it just like erupts, and like everyone like the big production number. It's like 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes long, and it's everyone in the crew. It's not that many people. It's probably like 20 people, but like
It's a lot for choreography.
yeah. And so when we like we've been piecing it together, and the more it comes together, like by the the last time we did it, they finished it, and everyone in the room was just like, yeah, because the energy is just like so high in the room.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Hmm
I totally get what you're talking about. Because
Yeah,
they kind of did that in marching band too, to a much lesser extent, because it's just so much bigger. It's hard to like have a group moment like that.
yeah,
When there's like 90 people involved, which I still think is nuts. Like, I think it's crazy that we were able to like memorize stuff like that for band. It's like, dude, I don't have the mental capacity for that now. I was like, I don't know
it's
if I could
true.
do that.
It's like 10-minute sets that we knew and back.
Yeah, like with the movements and like you knew where other people messed up, so you knew what to do to react to that. And
Yeah.
you had other people's shows memorized. It's like, what? I still think that's nuts. Like I'll see stuff we did. I was like, dude, I don't know how I figured that out. Like what?
hmm
The whole dance culture has always fascinated me because it's so like I don't know what the word is to describe it, but it's like there's like this weird energy where like it's sort of like a cult, but it's not bad. Does that make
that
sense?
kind of makes sense.
Where it's like I'll see something and I'll be like, "Oh, I don't know about that," and then I'll look into it. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. You know?
Yeah. Um, I think the dance studio world is very different from like the hip hop world because hip hop is like from the streets,
Yes.
and like the dance studio world is so like competitive and like cutthroat, but everyone is like pretending to be super nice, but
That's what I'm talking about, where it's like it's kinda
only so they
weird.
can like get ahead. Like it's really fake, I've noticed. But like the hip hop world is so genuine and like people like the energy is so much better because there's more like respect
Hmm,
for each other's like craft than in the
okay.
dance studio world. So
Do you
yeah,
go
they're
more into the dance studio? Because that's something I'm really interested in. 'Cause,
yeah,
like,
that's
I'm really interested in, like, specific ecosystems of power structures. You know, like, if you think
mhm,
about band, it's like, "Oh, you can play, paradiddles at this BPM, you're a god, everyone loves you," right? Whereas,
yeah,
like, you go somewhere else, it's like, "Dude, I don't care, you can hit, like, a drum. Like talk
true.
talk to me about this," right? Like, I was talking to some people about that, some band people who, like, had not let go yet. I was like, "Dude, you realize that no one cares that you can play in high F on the French horn? Like, nobody cares. Like, that's not actually important." You know that, right? And so
Hmm.
I always think it's fascinating to see, like, okay, this is what if you do this in this, ecosystem, you're like a god, or, like, this is what people really like to see.
Yeah. Um,
So, like, what's, like at least in the dance studio world, like, what's gonna get you, like, a high position just because of, like, your ability? It's like we're in kindergarten, if you ran really fast, that was, like, the thing. You know?
um, it's kind of hard. I think like there's that like click kind of separation between studios where like there's a different studio. Um, I won't say their name, but
Okay.
they live like yes they live they operate like 20 minutes away from my house, 30 minutes. Um, but they go to like way harder, tougher competitions. But there's one competition
Okay.
that we both go to, and it's like anytime we see them or like we see one of their dances, it's like, oh, it's them. Like
Yeah.
we try to be nice to them and everything because we're not like but like there's still that underlying like I hope they mess up or something. But
What
um,
about, like, within the studio? Because you were talking about people being fake and stuff.
yeah, within the studio,
Because I kinda
um,
get the whole competitive aspect, because you just have to do that, you know?
yeah,
There has to be a us versus them, that's a really uniting factor, which
yeah,
is
definitely.
sounds really bad, but, like
That's something that we've noticed that we've somewhat been trying to incorporate more. Because let's see, in the dance studio, um, I've noticed that there's like different levels, but and like if people reach the top level, then they're kind of like, oh, I made it, like
Hmm,
I'm here. That was my goal. There's really nowhere else to go in this like place. And so then the effort from the people at like in the top level is way less than the people
mm.
underneath them. Because the people underneath them, they still have somewhere to go. They're trying to make it there. And once they make it, then they kind of like stop trying.
Okay.
Um, and so we've been trying to tell them like just because you made it to the top of your institution doesn't mean that you've made it to the top of where you can be as a dancer. And
Have you
we've been
thought of
trying.
incorporating, like, a way to, like, make them lose that position if they don't,
I know that's why I keep saying like we need to like I tell them just because you're in this spot doesn't mean that it's like secured and that you're locked in. Like
Okay. Yeah.
if you're not like giving enough, then we can replace you. That's what like.
Jeez.
But like we've been trying to foster a sense of like friendly competition because in that way like me and my brother we went to this hip hop convention competition in LA last month, and there was like 15 hours of classes over 3 days and competition, and it was so like crazy, just like being there. But one thing that one of the teachers said is like look at. She told a story of like this one time when they were in a class and one of her classmates said, "Hey, I'm about to mop the floor with you. I'm about to like outdance you so hard." And she was like, "No, you're not." And that was like the biggest she's ever danced, the hardest she's ever gone. So just that sense of like trying to like outdo the person next to you, like everyone is going to get better by doing that. And then as soon as you're done, it's like all love.
Mm.
And there's
I
none
bet
of
that
that
all
like,
love part is missed a lot though.
yeah. So that's something that we've been trying to like instill more. Like just because you've made it to the top group, you can still be better. You can still like challenge each other to make the whole group rise up to a new level, even though there's no level really like above that institutionally.
So I feel like we had a pretty good competitive relationship throughout high school, you know?
Yeah,
Like, it could have
I
been
think
really
so.
toxic. Like
It's true.
like, that could have been super bad for everybody, but I think it helps that we were both, like, naturally good at different things, and then we both were not naturally good at different things.
Hmm.
You know, like I would say that you were naturally good at drums and I was naturally good at piano. And then, I had to like work really hard to drums to get to where you were. And then you like would have had to work really hard at piano to get to where I was.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it that way or if you're
Hmm.
just like, oh man, he just has to like try to beat me or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really never asked you about that because I always thought it was like, oh, he surely he feels the same way as I do. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Pretty much. It's like I knew that I was better at drums, and I knew that you were better at piano. But there was still always like that little thing between us for like, but is he really? You know? But
no,
afterwards, we
dude,
just
with
like,
drums, like I knew I would never get close because you had put in the hours in like eighth grade, freshman, sophomore year, right?
yeah,
And I just didn't. So I was like, well, he's got like a bunch of hours on me. I would have to like work really hard to get there, you know.
yeah.
Whereas
But I
I
like
where you were working on drums, I was working on piano at that kind of that same time. I feel
that's
like
true.
so we were just kind of doing different things.
I would pull up like shows, show like what'd you call it?
Yeah, like DCI shows,
Yeah,
like the
but like
books.
the
Yeah.
sheet music, yeah,
Mhm.
of like old PCI, and I would just like play that on a Sunday afternoon for like hours, just because I thought it was fun. Like I love to do it, and I miss drumming. Like I think back to drumline, and I'm like, man, like
Do you still drum in general?
no,
Really? You don't even like play set for anything?
I sold my drum set.
Oh, dude, that's rough. Yeah, I hate it when I hear people selling drum sets because that's always the first to go of any musician. Because you can just stick a bass guitar in the closet, but you can't
Yeah,
really store a drum set.
yeah, and it was in my brother's room, and we moved it to the garage when he moved back, um, in last August, and then like didn't miss it. Like I was never like, oh, we should like I should get it out and play it. So it's
Mm,
just like we just decided to get rid of it because I wasn't using it.
dang. I haven't used my drum set in a while, but I think I'm gonna have to start using it because I want to get back into my church worship scene. I had left that like years ago. I'm talking like freshman year, I think I left.
Mhm.
Um, but like I don't want to do piano for it because I think that's kind of boring. Like I don't know if you've
Yeah,
heard like worship music with piano. It's just not. It's like
yeah.
play
It's just
play
like
play a G chord
chords,
for the entire song. I'm like,
and then
okay.
every now and then there'll be like a jazzy riff, like a
Yeah, the white gospel riff. Yeah.
and then there'd be more chords.
You gotta lay on the ethereal pad. You're the voice of God. Like, okay. Um, but I want to get back into drums, and I tried doing just a freaking triplet roll thingy the other day. I could not do it. Like, legit, like, no matter how slow I did it, like, I could physically do it, right? But I didn't
Yeah,
like how it sounded.
I
Like,
have
yeah, I could get by with this, but that's not what I wanna produce, you know? So,
I have a pad in my room right now. Can you hear this?
I can, and it's not
Let's
peaking audio somehow.
see these triplet rolls. How was that?
That's pretty good.
Let's go.
That's pretty good. I'm looking at the sound waves right now, and they look pretty tight.
There's literally dust that, like,
Just
was
came off.
rolling around on the pad as I was drumming.
Using Ralph Hardimans?
I don't know. I think I'm using the ones from Rock Band
Oh, wow.
because they were just the ones that I had in my
Yeah.
room right now. But maybe I'll get back more into some, like, pulling up old sheet music,
You
doing
should
that
do that.
again
You should
because
bring a
I
little
enjoy that.
pad on your mission trip and, like, some sticks, because like, you can only do devotionals for so long.
It's true.
You you know what I
We
mean?
do have a lot of free time.
Yeah, if you don't wanna just feel like you're watching TV or on your phone or whatever, you know? 'Cause,
Yeah.
Bracken told me the whole spiel of, like, what you're supposed to do while you're out there. I was like, "Dude, that sounds fun for, like, a week, but, like, not for 2 years." Like, I don't know if I can do
Yeah. It's supposed to be very hard.
that. Well, it just seems like I'm not a kind of person who likes doing the same thing every day.
Mhm.
Anything, even if I enjoy what I'm doing, I was like, I have to change it up. Like, I don't know what that is, but, like,
Yeah.
I have to switch it up. And just, like, not switching it up for 2 years just sounds like hell.
Yeah. And it sounds like it's the same thing every day when you say it, like, "Oh, yeah, you teach people, you go to meetings, you study, you go home, blah, blah, blah." But, like, it's different people
Yeah, I
every
obviously,
day.
the experiences are different, but
Yeah.
what's the word? The, the jumping off point's the same every time.
Yeah.
That's what I have an issue with. 'Cause, like, with film, you are doing the same thing every time, right? But the
Mhm.
jumping off point is completely different. Whereas,
It's
like,
true.
what you're doing is not the same, but the jumping off point is the same.
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, I'm making a film," but this time, it's about horror as opposed to, like, this rom-com flick. It's a completely different jumping off point, but you're
Mhm.
still making a movie, so it's technically the same thing.
Yeah, the
I don't know.
process is similar.
Yeah, but it's completely different jumping off point.
Uh-huh.
Are
You
you
get
hyped
moved
for it?
around every now and then, like 6 weeks, you get moved to a different area to kinda, like, freshen things up,
Hmm, but
and you
still in,
get a
like, the
different
same
companion.
calendar year. Oh, you did a different companion?
Yeah, every 6 weeks.
Dude.
You can stay with the same like, you don't have to move, it just depends on wherever, like, the mission president decides. So you can like, my brother, he had the same companion in the same area for, like, a few months. They loved it, like, they were really close,
Mm.
and then they got transferred, so
It's funny, I was in Logan, Utah. Do you know where that is?
yeah.
And, like, that was, like, one of the very first times I felt like, "Oh, shoot, there's a lot of white people here, man." Like, jeez. Like, it was weird. Like, I never felt that way. Like, I go to, like, a Christian church, which means there's a lot of white people there. That's just how it is.
Mhm.
But, like, I never felt like, "Oh, shoot, I need to, like, watch my back." Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't, like, any yeehaw vibes, like, "Let's go string them up," but it was, like, it's kinda like, "Oh, this is, like, really, really, like, secluded and isolated." Like, this is, like, I don't know. It's really odd. I had never felt that before.
Mhm.
It wasn't like I don't know, it wasn't like crazy Mormon presence because I felt like crazy religious presences in general, and it was nothing like that. It was almost like a weird inbred kind of vibe. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
it's like, man, everyone knows each other here, like, way too well. Like, this is, like, kinda I don't know, very odd experience. We had
Mhm.
driven through that on our way to Yellowstone, so it was actually really neat because when we drove through small town America, it was on the 4th of July. So everyone had parades going. It was pretty neat. It was like, it was like the parade was like the one fire truck in the town and all the tractors. It was I was like, dude, this is like the people of America. These are like true Americans, Like people who like, they give people food at their farms and whatnot. They don't live in these big urban areas. They're just out on the
Mhm.
prairie, like literally like Little House on the Prairie everywhere. It was so interesting. It's
Yeah,
like, wow, everyone in this town knows each other. But
it's weird how like I don't know anyone in my neighborhood.
that's true. I think I know one family in my neighborhood, and that's because they also go to our church. That's it.
Exactly. Like other than those people, I know the people who live across the street. Like I could tell you names of people, but like couldn't tell you the last time I spoke to any of them.
Hmm. Like I actually did start building a relationship with one old guy in my neighborhood because he really liked my car. So he would always say hi. And then he moved like a month ago. I was like, oh, I was like, I wonder why I haven't seen it for a while. My mom was like, yeah, they moved. I was like, what? Like, no, the old guy with the Challenger. Because I guess he had one too. It was like a garage kept one. So old guys are pretty neat once you actually get to know them.
Yeah,
That's
I
something
think
I did like during COVID. I was like, I really started talking to my grandparents more because I was like, oh shoot, dude, like they could die like
true.
anytime. Did you have any of that with like old people in your life at all?
Um, Not really. Old people kind of scare me.
Why? Why?
I don't know. I guess scare me is the wrong word, but I don't know. Like I think that they have so much like life experience that like it's cool to like talk to them about it sometimes. Like we came from different worlds.
Yeah.
There's not a lot that like I connect with.
Does their world not fascinate you? Do you not care about life in the 70s?
Not really.
Really? Because like
Like if it's like
that's
actually like cool,
mm.
but if it's just like this used to be a deli where you could get a sandwich for $1. Like that doesn't really like astound me.
Like things like I don't know. I think the baby boomer generation is one of the most fascinating because they lived through the technological jumps, you
It's
know.
true.
Because I'll ask like my grandpa, I was like, hey, like how did you like do like stocks or like what were banknotes like back in the day or like his wife literally rode a train to work every day, like like
That's
a
pretty cool.
steam engine, like legit steam engine. It's like what? Or like he walked to school when he was 5 by himself. I was like, oh, you just did that kind of thing. He's like, yeah, it was like a 2 mile walk. I was like, what? It's like, dude, that's like 8 miles in like 5-year-old steps,
That's true.
you know? And like, I don't know, it's just a really interesting time. Like I was watching Jaws, right? Have you seen Jaws?
Um, it was on at a birthday party once when I was in like sixth grade. But I didn't really watch it, but I saw parts of it.
So, the main guy has like two sons or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, so the main guy he has two sons. And the one son had like cut his leg up or something outside at the beginning of the movie. It's just like kind of like, oh, this is what the family's like. And he comes inside, the mom's like, let's get you cleaned up. And then the dad says, oh, what happened? And she's like, oh, so and so cut up his leg. He's like, well, what did you do that for? And then he walked and then he like went to work. Like that was the entire like that was the entire like confrontation of like, oh, my son is hurt. What'd you do that for? And he leaves. I was like, dude, that's how it was though. It's
For real.
just so interesting to me. It's like that's how people like talked. Like my dad used to live in Logan. That's one of the reasons we went there. He's like, "Oh yeah, this is the place where like I burned down the field, and this is the place where like I jumped the fence into like the local in the college baseball fields or whatever. It's just like, dude, that's
Mhm.
like that would never fly today. Like that's like
Yeah.
literally they burned down a field and they were just like, well, don't do that again. It's like, okay. That's the kind of thing that fascinates me. It's like what you were allowed to do and what people's
Yeah, that's true.
perspectives on things were.
That's interesting.
Just like just how like ask I don't know how old your parents are, but or how much they kept up on this, but like the OJ trial, just ask people about that. It's crazy. Like I know Goldenrod was talking about that a lot, but he's black, so it's like you're kind of like, oh, he probably knows about it because he's black.
It's true.
But like that was the thing for everybody. It's like how much it was in. Like think Amber Heard, Johnny Depp, like times 1,000.
For real.
Like literally, that's what it was. I was like, dude, it's just so interesting to me. Like that's what the whole country was like fixated on for months.
Yeah, because that Johnny Depp and Amber Heard was just like violence. But, like OJ was like murder.
Yeah, straight
There's
up.
way more at stake there.
Like if someone like posts a Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing now, you just like cringe at it. You're like, oh, why are you still talking about that? You know,
Yeah.
it's weird. But like you bring up OJ and you're like, now it's all jokes. It's like, oh, you know, I can't be calling my orange juice OJ anymore. It's like, oh, dang it. Like at the Wendy's I used to work at, we'd call them, you like some murder juice? Like use the OJ.
How long until something isn't too soon?
I don't know. Like I feel like 9/11 isn't too soon anymore. I hear a lot of people joking about that. At least within
It's
Gen
true.
Z. Although and
Yeah.
millennials too, but Gen X they that's still a no-no for 9/11 jokes.
The people who like weren't alive or like weren't old enough to
Yeah.
register it are the ones who joke about it.
It is pretty funny though.
Because I'm sure if you like joked around about World War II with like a veteran, because that's like,
I feel like it really depends on the veteran though,
yeah,
because some people had a great time.
well, with like someone who was in Auschwitz,
Oh, like
and
that.
you're
Okay.
like,
I was thinking like
Auschwitz.
American soldiers, not like freaking Jewish people.
Well, I was thinking of different things. But yeah, it depends on the person and also whether or not they really went through it or whatever.
I know this is going a bit long, but I'm still really interested in this. We got off topic with the whole like dance culture thing.
True.
Um, how did you navigate that? Did you just like sidestep the whole thing, or did you lean into it and just like conquer the system, or
What do you mean?
like with band culture, right? You can either like do what you did, just be like, hey, I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna do my job, and I'm gonna go home, right? Or you
Mhm.
can like freaking conquer the thing, like Mark, you know. He's like, I'm gonna become brass captain. Everyone's gonna love me. I'm gonna say I like DCI, and everyone's gonna say they like DCI, right? Or you could just kind of just be there like Troy Bryant. Yeah, just
True.
like
It's like I'm around.
yeah.
With dance, I don't know. Um, because I think like marching band, I love like the drum. Like
That
that
was
was
the
super
draw.
fun. But like
Was the
when
drum?
it, yeah, when it
Yeah.
comes to marching band as like a program, I didn't really like it. I wasn't super invested in it. But dance, like, of course, I love to dance. Also, like the program that I was in, I loved that too, and so I was just more invested into that in general. Um, so I think I was more,
What?
huh?
Did you like not finish your thought there, or was that it?
I didn't finish my thought because I didn't
Okay.
know what to say.
I was like, did he like mute himself, or like, what happened there? I was like, because I'll think of like band people now, right?
Uh-huh.
And then, and I cringed both times, right?
Yeah,
So I was in it, but I wasn't like a band person. Does that make
right.
sense?
Yeah,
Like when people ask me, "Oh, what do you do?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm the band." They're like, "Seriously?" Like, it was
Right,
always a
'cause
surprise to people.
they never would have guessed that you were a band kid.
Yeah. I could have guessed you were a dance kid, but, like, I just kinda didn't think about that because like, the whole, like, gender thing was like, "Oh, you're a guy, you don't do dance." Right?
Yeah.
I just
Mhm.
didn't think about it. But, like, if that was, like, a normal thing, I'd be like, "Oh, yeah, he's probably does, like, dance or something like that," you know?
True. I never really told most people that I did dance, mostly just 'cause it rarely ever came up. That's not really, like, a topic of conversation in most people's lives.
Well, still, that's, like,
Also,
your that was, like, your life, though, right?
yeah, it was mine.
Yeah, so, like, if people ask about you, you know?
I would just lean towards, like, piano and band.
Really? You just,
Yeah,
like, you'd
because I
avoid it on
felt that there
purpose.
was there was a stigma of, like, guys in dance,
Mm.
and that they're all gay, and so I was like I would only tell people who, like, I was who knew me well enough to not think like, "Oh, you're a dancer?"
Therefore, you must like dick, obviously.
Exactly.
Was that prevalent in the studio at all from, like, the females? Would they, like, just assume you're gay? So they're like,
Um,
because that could be useful to some extent. I'm not saying it should be, but it can.
that's true.
But, like,
Um,
the funny thing is, like, I've seen a lot of dudes post about that kinda thing, and it's just like, yeah, the stigma's it's not really stigma because it's kinda true. They're like I think it's like an 8 to 2 ratio or something
yeah,
in terms of, like, gay dudes and straight dudes. They're like, yeah, there's a lot of dudes in there, but, like, the majority are gay. Like, yeah.
uh-huh. I think in the actual studio, not as much, because like, there are guys that we've had who very clearly are gay,
Just ultimate
or
Giga Chad of gay, yeah.
or going to be eventually, and then there are some who you kinda, like, wonder, like, "I don't know, maybe not." Then there's, like, me and my brother and my other friends who is, like, very clearly not gay. So I think it's easier to, like, distinguish when you are in the dance world and, like, you're the one who is actually dancing with them.
Mhm.
Because like, if I say I'm a dancer to someone, and they'll be like, "Oh," and probably off first impression, think I'm gay. But when they, like, see me dance and see me what I actually do, then because hip hop, it's not like it's not like ballet or
Yeah,
jazz.
like,
It's
that's
more
so
like
weird because when I think of dancer, at least in the male scene, I think of, like, Bruno Mars or something. Like, that's what pops in my head.
huh.
And so, like, I don't
Bruno
really
Mars
have
isn't even
that.
really like a dancer. Like, he can dance, but he's not like a dancer.
Yeah, but, like, when I think of, like, dudes dancing, I think of, like, Bruno Mars's, his routines and whatnot
Just like, yeah,
for, like,
footwork and
what is it called?
grooves
Runaway
and
Baby or
stuff.
whatever it's called.
Yeah,
I think of
'cause
Super Bowl
that's like James Brown,
2013.
like James
Yeah,
Brown, Michael Jackson, that kind of stuff.
yeah, that's kind of the scene I think of.
Yeah,
And so it's hard for me to be like, "Oh, therefore you are gay." So that's just not what I
right.
think of instantly. When I think of female dancers, I totally think of, like, ballet. Because like,
Yeah,
otherwise you have the whole, like, twerking scene to think about, and I just don't wanna think about that, so, you
true. And I can twerk. I'm just kidding.
know? Do you think there's, like I wouldn't say a curated gay, but just, like, with the amount of girls to guys, you are just gonna hang out with girls more if you're in that
It's
scene.
true. Yeah,
So, like, it does make sense, like, you are who you hang out with for the most part,
yeah.
you know?
Like, gay guys hang out with girls, but not
Yeah.
all guys who hang out with girls are gay.
Some guys
It's
are
like
just alpha men, yeah.
it's like gotten to the point where after I graduated, um, I kind of I was never really on that big of the social scene in high school those last 2 years just 'cause, like I said, it it seemed pointless to me. Like, I hung out with the people who ugh, the people who I was, like, actually friends with and, like, I wanted to hang out with, and so, after I graduated, I didn't really hang out with very many guys. I probably had, like, 3 guy friends that I would actually hang out with, but I spent so much time at the studio. It got to the point where, like, I went to a party and I was like, "I don't know how to talk to guys, like, what do guys like?" And then, like, some of my friends who were girls walked in, and I spent the whole night with them because like, I didn't know how to talk to dudes.
That's hilarious.
We did a thing at the studio. It's like, um so the way we do it now is we have dance company, and that's, like, all your traditional styles, like ballet, jazz, lyrical, musical theater, blah, blah, blah. And then we have hip hop company, which is just hip hop, and tap company, which is just tap, because those 2 styles are so different from the other ones that we had to, like, separate them.
Mhm.
And so what dance company did was the top group, they did a bring a boy to dance day, and one of the girls brought me, since I wasn't, like, I'm not in dance company. So one of
Uh-huh.
them brought me, and then
Isn't that kinda cheating, though?
I guess. But
Anyway,
they
bring a
all
boy to
brought
dance today.
these
Yeah.
guys, and it was just a room full of dudes. I was like, like,
It's
it's
like, I
just
don't wanna
wasn't
seem
really
too informed at what I'm doing here.
yeah.
Was it just
I
like, like freaking what do you call, like, generic dude
They
people?
all looked the same. I swear. They all looked the same to me. Like their hair, everything. There was like one guy who was like his name was Caesar, and
Caesar. Wow.
he was darker, like light skinned. He was
Uh-huh.
cool. Um and then there was a Polynesian guy who was like he was cool. But he was one of the boyfriends of one of the girls. Everyone else, white. Like I saw them and I was like, F boy, F boy. And I know it's very judgmental and like I didn't like
But were your judgments founded, though, once you actually started doing stuff? Because if they're
yeah.
founded, then are they judgments or just informed observations?
They were informed observations. Like when I see people and I make an informed observation or a judgment about them, I don't let that affect like the way my interaction with them. Like I'll still like be open minded and like try to like get to know them sometimes. But like sometimes I'm just proven right. And I'm like I knew it. And so yeah, I don't really want to see most of those guys ever again.
Most. Keyword
Yeah.
is there.
Well, the Polynesian guy was cool. He was my friend's boyfriend. And so I'll probably see him again.
I don't know why, but I, like, defaulted to, like, your friend's boyfriend, but the friend was a guy. I was like, "Wait." I was like
True.
"That's not what I had in my brain."
Point.
But, like, dude, I think it's interesting that are you still at the point where, like, talking to girls is somehow easier?
I think so. I think I can talk to guys if I try. If I'm like dropped in a group of like guys I don't know, I'll have a harder time.
Really?
Yeah.
Because do you think that has to do with the whole, like, guys will not invite you, they'll just assume if you wanna come, you'll show up, and girls will invite you? Or is that just you?
I don't know.
'Cause, like, the whole, like, within like, because pretty much all my friends are guys at the moment. I'd say, like, 8 are dudes and, like, 4 are girls, so very
Mm.
large majority is dudes, and, like, all of them I wouldn't say all of them, but a fair amount, like, are still on the whole, like this whole talking to girls is, like, this I wouldn't say special thing, but it's, like, this specific thing that, like, oh, man, there's, like, an aura of, like, importance or
Right.
just something around it, right?
Mhm.
And, like, I grew up hanging out with my female cousins, and so I just talk to girls like they're another person, like, it doesn't really phase me,
Yeah.
and so I was curious on what your perspective was on that, because, like, for me, it's just always been a thing, but for you, it was like it sounds like more recently. I don't know,
I
because
think
I've
like
never noticed, like, a big difference at that, I think is what I'm trying to say.
yeah, it's true. I think with people who have like siblings or like hang out with their cousins a lot who are girls, it's less of a thing for them. And like me, who I have one older brother, and I have some cousins who are girls, but like I never really like hung out with them that much. And so it was always like its own thing for me. But like now that I'm just around them so much, it's just like natural. So it just depends on like how much you like are surrounded with like by them. Like I think if I had a friend who was a guy, and then there were a bunch of other guys that I didn't know, but I knew that one guy, or if I had a friend who was a girl and a bunch of other girls who I don't know, but I knew that one girl, I think it would be easier for me now in the group of the girls, just because like I hang out with them so much more at dance that like I know what to talk about.
Okay. I kinda understand that, where you're coming from now. So I
Like
was like,
I gotta have like that buffer of the person I know.
"Hmm, what" okay, so here's a question for you. Are you, like? Because you to me, you've always seemed pretty outgoing, but I know that, like, you're sort of not, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Um, so, like, is it worse if you know you're gonna see them? Like, if you meet someone for the first time and you know they're gonna be part of your life for some amount of time, like, you're gonna see them again
Mhm.
frequently, or if you're never gonna see them again, which is worse if you have to, like, talk to them?
Um, I don't know, probably never see them again, because then it's like I'm just spending time on this person who I'll
That's
never
harder?
talk to when I
Like,
could.
in terms of social anxiety, which is harder, I guess?
Oh, probably the person that I'll have to see again,
Okay, because that's
because
how
I'll
I
have to
am, but,
like
like,
make
a
a good
lot of people I've
impression
talked
and like
to.
things will go well the next time.
Yeah, like, a lot of people I talked to are the opposite. I was like, "Why is that har?" There's no pressure. It's just like
Exactly.
whatever goes, goes. You could be a completely different person, and it wouldn't
Yeah.
matter.
You could have an accent.
You could.
I used to
Like,
do that.
I don't know why people have an issue with that. That always confused me. I was like, "There's no weight to it," you know? Like, literally, like, you're never gonna see them again. But, like, some people are really that's, like, a big thing, you know? They're
Like I'll
like,
see
"Oh,
people that
I
like,
don't wanna go outside because what if someone looks at me?" It's like, "Okay." Like
sure,
like at the gym, it's like, "Oh, I don't wanna, like, do this exercise wrong. What if someone looks at me?" Well, if they look at you, then they help you, isn't that better? Like, if
that's
you're doing
true.
it wrong, you know? Like, wouldn't you want that? You'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, but then I have to talk to them." It's like, "What?" Like, that I don't know, that's because I used to be that way, and then I killed that part of myself, you know?
Hmm. I
Like,
used to hate like talking to people I didn't know. Like it was very weird for me.
when was that change for you? Because for me, it was going to all these DCI camps and literally forcing myself into those situations. Like, I couldn't drive, so once I was there, I just had to, like, deal.
I don't know when it changed. I don't think there was any like specific events or anything. I think it just like it was just part of like maturity. Because when I was young, um, it chipped my two front teeth on the concrete, and that made me very self conscious. And so like I had sort of like selective mutism, where I only talk to like certain people. Um,
Selective mutism, that's a big word. Jeez.
yeah.
You just pulled that out like it was nothing. Alright. Go on.
And so like kindergarten and preschool, I was like very shy and didn't talk to a lot of people. But like I think it was just as I grew up more, I became more like comfortable with myself and with being around people that just like,
Are they still chipped at this point? Are
mm,
those adult teeth or are those baby teeth?
I don't know. I don't remember how old I was, but I
I feel
couldn't
like
tell you.
you would know if they were still chipped though, right? You could just, like, run
They
your
don't
tongue
feel
over them.
chipped. Yeah,
Okay.
no. Yeah, they were either baby teeth or they were filled.
It just didn't matter, yeah.
Yeah,
That's interesting because, like, when I first knew about you, I wanna say it was, like, 7th grade
yeah,
because we didn't go to
probably.
the same elementary,
Hmm.
and, like, it was like, "Everyone likes Crew. Crew's a cool guy." I was like, I don't even know who this guy is. Like who is Crew? Like it's I was like when I first learned about you, I was like, of course his name is Crew. Like what else would it be? You know?
Yeah. I think like I still don't really like talking to people I don't know. Not so much because I'm like shy or like afraid, but just because like I don't know you. Why would I waste my time with you when I could be like talking to someone who I'm already friends with? That's the way I see it.
Hmm.
Especially with this limited time that I have left,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah, you
could
have
be
a
like
unique
strengthening the
situation there.
yeah. But like my whole life been like super. But if I'm comfortable with someone and like we're already friends, and I'm way more like outgoing and like fun and blah blah blah. Like if I don't really know a lot of people in a situation, I'm definitely more reserved and like introverted. So it's for me it isn't almost entirely dependent on other people who are there that
Hmm.
will that will like influence how comfortable I am and how whatever. I think also this year I started teaching more like at the studio. I had my own tumbling class. It was
Okay.
for like level one tumbling. They did like handstands and forward rolls. It was super easy. But like I would substitute every now and then, and
I
so
would be in
then
that
it's just
class.
like you're just thrown into like this classroom full of people you don't know, and you have to like be confident and like take control. And so I think that has helped with just like a general like being able to open up to random people and being more comfortable. I think that has played a factor.
You see, that's like a double whammy, right? Because not only do you not know people, but you're also in like the superiority position.
Yeah.
And like that's what gives me issues still. It's like unless I know what I'm talking about, like for sure, like I don't feel comfortable imparting knowledge to people unless like I know it's true. Does that make
Hmm.
sense?
Yeah.
And so that's always been an issue. Like when I had to like help people in drumline and stuff, it's like, dude, I just like figured this out. Like I don't have like a way to teach you. Like I
True.
just like beat the drum until it worked, you know?
Exactly. That's what it is with dance. People like will do a certain move or like a groove. People will be like, "How do you do it?" I'm like, I just do it. Like it's intrinsic. I can't like teach you how to move your body that way.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about dance is like you can't it's hard to see yourself doing it while you're doing it, even though you have all those mirror stuff.
Yeah.
But it's hard to like have in the moment like inward commentaries like, okay, that's how that happened. Because if you think too hard, then you like it's over.
Yeah, because you don't think about the moves you're doing. You don't see the moves you're doing. You just feel them happening.
But I think about all the stuff I do with piano. I can do that real time, which is interesting. I think
Hmm.
that's why I progressed so fast because like I was able to real time analyze what I'm doing. I was like, okay, this sucks, this sucks, this is good. We're gonna keep that. This sucks, right?
Yeah.
Can you do that with drums or used to at least? Be like while you're in the middle of a roll, be like, okay, there was a bad part. You didn't have to like listen back to it. Be like, oh, that sucked.
Yeah. And I can do that with dance too. Like I recognize like when I mess up on a part or like I see myself in the mirror and I'm like, that looked weird.
Hmm.
It's like when you're not so much thinking about every specific thing and you're more just like thinking about it as one string of things, it's easier to see like the breaks and like the gaps and things inside of it.
Hmm. How is how does critique go in there? Because like in other fields like drumming, it's like you're critiquing their hands. It's not like
Yeah.
or
There's like a
you're critiquing it like
specific like regiment of what it should look or sound like in
well, not
drumming.
even that, but like I feel like I'm thinking like on the basis of like young people. Like when you critique someone's dancing, it's like you're almost like saying that they suck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there's like the whole like, what's the word? Like I don't even know what the word is, but like you have to like if you want to be better, you kind of have to be really fit,
Hmm.
just to physically do a lot of the things. It's, you don't see a lot of fat dancers for a reason.
It's true.
And so,
'Cause they either can't do it or they've lost the weight.
yeah, it's like, it's how what is that like? Because like I can see
Um,
where that could go really sour with like, very self-conscious teenager people.
yeah. Um, it's a fine line. Like it's difficult sometimes as a teacher because like it depends on how like nitpicky you are. Because like I'll have a vision of something in my head of something that looks good on stage, and I'll teach it to the kids, and they'll do it, and it just like won't fit the vision. And
Hmm.
I can like try to like get them to do it differently, but like it's not like it's not gonna work.
Is
And
that
so
more that they aren't meeting your expectations of the vision, or your expectations didn't even have them in it to begin with?
I don't know, probably both. I think that like it is partially their. I think it's like their style and
Hmm.
like movement quality. Cause like in LA, all the dancers there, like the way that they dance is like so different than like people at my dance studio. It's just like different styles of hip hop and like movement that like I'll see it in my head, and when they do it, it just looks different because they just do it different. Um, and so if I'm like trying to be super like nitpicky and specific, I'll end up disappointed. I'll end up disappointed. And like it's not really productive for anybody.
Everyone just cries.
Exactly. But if it's more like I have to recognize where they are and their style and their movement quality, and then after that it's just like comparative
Hmm.
to how they did it last time. Like I'll teach it and it'll be like 3 out of 10. I'll come back next week, 5 out of 10, and I'll be like, I'm pleased because they did it better. They're pleased because they did it better. Maybe I'll come back the
Yeah.
next week. They didn't
You
practice.
got
It
a
goes
great
down.
progress, not result, almost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So,
that way, like
sorry, you go.
it's just better for everyone to do it that way. That's all.
Okay, last thing I wanted to ask you about, um, at least that I had on my mind recently was, so if you look at like different fields of either art or just work in general, people are very keen on like showing off their tools, right? Whatever their tool is. Like if it's a
Hmm.
drummer, like, oh, look at my hand speed, look what I could do. If it's like, a painter, it'd be like, yo, these brushes cost like $1,000, right? Or something like that. But with like
Yeah.
dancing, your tool is your body, right? And so like
Hmm.
there's like this weird thing. One second. Yeah, what's up? Okay, that was my brother being a nice person. He wants to practice trumpet, and I told him 20 minutes. So good. This was the last question. Anyway, so like
Cool.
people like will show off their tools, and with dance, that is you. And so like there's this like interesting culture where it's like, hey, look
Right.
at look at my body, and my body's a canvas, and it gets into like this weird space, especially when
Hmm.
like younger kids do it. That's like that. I'm not even going to get into that, but you know what I'm talking about. Um,
Yeah.
like what is that like in there? Because I noticed like you didn't seem to really care. Like I don't know. Like it didn't seem to be like a big deal for you. At least I never noticed it because like you'll see like dance field they'll like post like once a month some sort of like physique type post. You know what I mean?
Uh huh.
It's like
Um.
was that like a I don't know because I feel like there's always this weird like maybe it's not in your face but it's like kind of just lingering in the background. It's like oh this is like this thing.
What are you asking?
So I'm asking, like, what was that vibe like? Was that, like, pertinent? Because I know in drumming, with at least with, like, with hand speed and whatnot, that's like a whole subculture, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so, like, how, like, big is that in dancing? Like, I mentioned, like, if you're, like, overweight, you physically cannot do this some of the stuff. It's just like that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And so then there's this massive pull in the other direction to be, like, super fit, almost like into, like, this, like, the area of, like, where models are, where it's like, "Oh, you gotta be perfect for, Louis Vuitton or whatever," you know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Yeah. Um,
Uh,
I think, like
like, I guess, like, for in your personal experience, like, what did you observe? Did that, like, affect you at all? Because I just, like, I always think about it from a psychology aspect because I was, like, what my major was beforehand. I'm like, "That cannot be
Mhm.
healthy for, like, people with, like, developing bodies and developing brains where it's, like, their body is, like, everything," you know? And then you add on top of that where,
Yeah.
"Oh, it is everything, it's not in your head. That's actually what it is," you know?
Yeah, I think for me, it wasn't really, like that wasn't really something I really noticed or thought about very much, um, just because a lot of it just came so naturally to me. Like, I put in the work a lot, but, like, I was the guy who, like, did all the tricks. Like,
Mm,
doing tricks and flips, that was my thing, and there are other people who, like, can't really do anything, and so I think it's fairly prominent when it just comes to, like, playing to the dancer's strengths. Like, some people are really good at doing turns, and so those 3 people will be doing turns while everyone else is, like, doing stuff around them, and, like, you put the flexible people, you give them a special leg thing at one part, and, like, I think it's I don't know how much people, like, think about it consciously and, like, stuff like that, but there are conditioning classes that the dancers are required to take,
mm.
just to stay in shape. Um, but I've noticed as like a choreographer standpoint, I put the people in the front who I know will like their bodies will be good in that part, or like if they can do a certain trick, I'll make sure to put in that trick somewhere. Um, so I don't really know if that's like something that they think about or that they talk about with each other. I'm
Mm.
sure it is. Like they know like, oh, this person is super flexible. She's got the legs, and this person is she's got the tricks. And I know that they like recognize what people are really good at certain things. But I don't know if there's just like a general like kind of comparison
I see what you're
like
saying,
that.
yeah. I
Something
just
that
always, like, I always saw that and I was like, "Dude, I don't know if, like, I could have handled that before I was, like, comfortable with myself." You know what I mean?
mhm,
Like, that I don't know if that would've been good for me to, like, have to think about that because I was already like, "Oh, shoot, I can't drum at this level." I was like, "I can't imagine if, like" 'cause, like, that's kinda what you place your identity in, and I always think that's really dangerous if it's something, something
yeah,
physical like that, where it's like some
mhm,
people do it in their brains, which I think is also bad because, like, what if you get a head trauma? Oh, now your identity's lost because you can't perform mentally to, like, the same level you
true.
could. And so, like, with people where it's like, oh, if you look at yourself in freshman year and then, like, even sophomore year, it's like you're not even the same person physically. It's like what kinda stress does that put on the brain where it's like
Yeah,
that is your identity?
like in hip hop, I was always the guy who did the tricks, and if I that was like who I was, like this is my thing. I'm the trick guy, and if I like broke my foot and I couldn't do the tricks, then
Yeah, like, what's
would
that
I
gonna do,
like
you know?
have lost myself? Like who even am I? I think like I didn't put enough focus into like that one specific aspect of my life. It was more like widespread throughout different things where like if one thing went out, I would still have all these other things that like that were important to me that like I cared about.
Mm. Would you consider yourself like in terms of like that whole identity thing, like you are a crew who happens to be a really good dancer and is happens to be the trick guy?
Yeah, I think so. Cause
Because
like
that's like that's kind of how I try to think about it. I was like, oh, I happen to play the piano. That's not like my thing.
right.
That's just a cool perk I have.
Yeah, it's a talent that you have, but it's not like who you are. Cause it's not like an attribute. Like if someone is really open minded or stubborn, or if someone is really like cares about other people or more self-centered, like that kind of stuff that like you can get hurt, you can have whatever, but that's not really like gonna change. Like you can't really lose your good qualities. So I think if we base our identity more around like who we are inside rather than the things that we can do, then like that can't really like go away.
Hmm. That's like a really mature outlook though. That like
Yeah.
you have because you're older than like the people you're teaching and whatnot.
Hmm. Like being in high school, like the things on the outside are so much more important than the things on the inside. Like Instagram doesn't post what your heart looks like. So, bro, that was poetic. I write that down. Anyways, so like it's hard for the dancers to like have that kind of mindset and know like just because I can't do the same moves that this person can, that doesn't mean that I'm not as good as a person as them. And so they put too much weight into what's on the outside.
I totally get what you're saying with that. Like I always joked that Tinder was the dumbest way to date if you were actually trying. Obviously, it's kind of just like a sex app at this point. But like for
True.
the original intent, like I'm going to post my social media profile on there, which is the worst representation of me for accuracy. And I'm going to say, "This is who I am. Would you like to date me?" I always thought that was so weird
Yeah.
that it was set up that way. I was like, "Well, that's not like because the original intent obviously was not like this weird prostitution app, where that's kind of what
Hmm.
it is now."
Right.
I was like, "That doesn't make any sense to me." But like I always thought it was cool that I found out that you did dance and that like you didn't like it wasn't like, "Oh, like crew, he's dancing, look at him go." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I always think that's the best way to like if people find out that you do things that gives you so much more credit, I feel like.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I found out that Will was a pilot. He didn't tell me that. I was like, "Dude, that's sick." Like, "What?" like like you just been
I didn't
like
know that. That's dope.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like, but if he told you like, "Hey crew, I'm a pilot and I fly to wherever. I'm this plane." He's like, "Okay, dude. Like, I didn't ask." like, you know.
Yeah. It's like who are you doing it for? 'Cause if I dance for myself. That's why I did it after I graduated. That's why I'm going to still continue to do it after my mission. I'll probably still do it on my mission. But like that's why I don't go around telling people, "Hey, I dance." Hey,
And
like
that's why I'm cool, and that's why you should like me.
exactly. Like I don't do it for them. I don't do it to be cool. I do it because I like to do it, and I don't care if anyone else knows.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I don't think people do. I think you're really lucky that you are able to do that. You know what I mean? Because a lot of
Yeah.
people, like, I don't know, they just like either there's some weird social pressure. I mean, you had a social pressure too, because like, oh, he's a dude dancing, therefore he's gay, right? You had that whole
Right.
thing to deal with. But like, I don't know, some people they do things they don't really want to do, but they do it for attention, or like the thing they actually really want to do, they don't do because some sort of stigma, or like maybe financially it's not possible, something like that.
Hmm.
You ever think about how like lucky you are that you can do that? Like this is
Yeah.
actually what you want to do. and you can actually do it, and you're good at it. Like that's trifecta right there.
Yeah, I'm definitely lucky for that. Because I know that there are people at the dance studio who they love it, they keep coming back, but they're not really getting better because they've reached like their peak as a dancer.
Mhm.
And I just feel like that would be hard to watch all your friends like
Just
get
keep getting
better.
better than you, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm definitely lucky that
That's how I felt with drums, man. Ugh. No, I'm kidding. Dude, if I really cared, then I would still be drumming now, which I probably should do, but it's okay. Well, man, this was a great conversation. I'm not gonna lie, it was rough in the beginning, but
it started off a little iffy.
I realized that I had to like start thinking of questions while you were telling me, which is hard because I actually want to hear what you're saying. I'm not
Yeah,
just like, I need to get my next question for this next click on my website, right?
exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, we should do this again before you leave,
I'd
because
be down.
now it's not like a, oh, I have to go to his house and I have to go to his Joe Rogan
Yeah,
setup. You
it's
know?
really convenient.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, you could make a little notes app and like, oh, this is what I want to talk about, because this was the first episode. I kind of just want to talk about you, even though
Mhm.
I was mostly talking about myself at the beginning, just kind of out of necessity. But
True.
I mean, like that's why you're on here. Like, if you want to hear about me, you go to another episode where it's literally just me talking. You know,
Yeah.
but
There's enough episodes about you. Okay.
that's yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. There's like there's like 17 already. So I'm gonna upload this today sometime, and I'll send you the link. I don't know if you want to hear yourself talk, if you're into that, but
I probably won't listen to it just because it's really long,
mhm.
unless I'm like really bored. I've already heard it. I just
I
lived
can
it.
I you just dude you. Well, I'm going to sign off here. Uh, that was really long conversation. That was great.